during draft season by me, Simon Winstanley, and I've got so many friends here with me today to help go through, everything that's going on in Steelers land, football land, and draft land. That I think I'll just very quickly shoot round the horn individually just to say hello to everyone. I'm joined, as always, by my partner in crime, Gavin Marshall. How you doing, bud?
I'm very good. How are you doing?
Very good, very good. While I'm talking to you, let me just very quickly plug the YouTube draft cut-ups, Gav.
Oh, thanks.
Talk to the people.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's hard at work trying to get as many of those out as I can before the draft. But I've got a first and foremost shout out to Stephen, who's done the graphics. I mean, amazing work on the graphics. That's really upped everything for us and really spurred me on to do this. But yeah, just trying to get as many of them done, working through the classes, hoping they'll become a resource, maybe especially after the draft, and some of the later rounds guys, and we don't know anything about them, we can go and watch them on the YouTube. But yeah, please, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube, please do, because we're trying to do some cool stuff on there. So yeah, please support us.
Boost that algorithm, and I love it because it means that when I want to go and look at these guys now in this like big cram session that I'm going to do, I've got them all cut up for me individually, which is very attractive. Mark Hansen.
I'm very good.
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Outside of a bad back, I'm doing grand. So I'm just excited now. I am about how far are we away from the draft? I'm just under a month away from being in Pittsburgh, PA itself. So I'm very excited. It's now getting tantalizingly close.
Yeah, getting exciting. I saw you posted a picture of Did you get the location of where you were going to be?
Yeah. So yeah, got all the details of what's going on. I've got my little QR code to get into the theater and everything. So yeah, I'm very excited. It is real. Yeah.
You can finally rest that back on the plane from carrying this podcast. Returning as well for the draft coverage, we have Ran. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me again.
Very happy to have you here again. And Rich Cetrone, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks. Excited to discuss this with my UK brothers.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been on a show with you, Rich. A pleasure to have you back as well. I think this is
Thank you.
5 people here to discuss Steelers. It feels like the height of like COVID. Everybody's available today. I love it. All right. With so many of us, I know these shows tend to run long, so I won't go on too long, but just a couple things. As always, check out the Patreon if you can, patreon.com/UK Steelers pod for ad-free episodes of the show every week, just as our wonderful Patreon producers have done. Shout out Jason Bowdler, who I believe is in the live YouTube chat. Check out these shows live on YouTube as we record them. Rob Ferguson, Teenage Mutant Ninja Dave Hart, Glenn Jones, Matt Audley, Steve Williams, Ian Ferrugia, Christian Robb, Thomas Fielding, Joe Pearson, our resident food correspondent Christopher Anderson, Philip Williams, Laura Casey, Michael Coonahan, Paul Fielden, the obscenely handsome Lee Matthews, and the Aussie Storm, Galileo West.
Thanks to those wonderful producers.
Thank you, one and all. And last thing on housekeeping, Jason reminded me to shout this out every week. I think you did it last week, Mark. Merchandise is available for the Facebook group, Galileo West. If you want Facebook group, UK Steelers merchandise, it's available. Go to uksteelers.com, head to the merchandise page. Is that correct? Am I getting any feedback on that, Gavin?
I think so. You'll have to bear with me on that one. So I'm stealing with the stream here. So I'm very distracted. I think I might have killed the stream and then restarted it, and I think people have rejoined back in. So welcome. Oh yeah, anyway. Don't look. Pull behind the curtain for a second. Carry on.
I'm not sure there is a curtain. I think the curtain's on fire.
Right. It's crashed and burned. It's all good.
I'm doing this monologue as the curtain burns behind me. It's like the scene from The Naked Gun, as he turns around, he's like, "There's nothing to see here."
Right, yeah, definitely. That's what I'm doing. My chair's spinning here. All right, good.
All right, I'll tell you what. I've got a fun game for you to because I'm the humor coordinator here, right? If I'm going to be of no use in Draft Corner, I'm going to at least be the humor coordinator for us. So I did spend a bit of time. Just what I wanted to do, Mark, if you don't mind, and I hope you'll be a good sport about this, Mark.
Oh God.
Is I realize, with all the fantastic draft coverage, like I say, that you've been carrying over these last few weeks, what I have noticed is some of the fantastic verbal quirks, shall we say, that sometimes appear as from Mark Hansen. And I was thinking that, there's a lot really to go on the soundboard permanently. So I was hoping maybe I could play a few to you guys. You could give me some feedback on which one deserves to be here potentially permanently on the soundboard. Would that be all right? Would that be fun for people?
Yeah, go on then.
Yes, please. I've got quite a few in my head because I've been obviously cutting the YouTube videos. There's quite a few words that I just cut out from Mark because I know that they're just little filler, little things.
I must apologise to you, Gav. There must be so many ers and ums.
No,
that
you
you've
don't
had to
really
cut
do
out
ers and
from.
ums. There's a couple of little. Well, let's see what Simon's got up his sleeve.
Oh Lord! Right, okay.
Well, first of all, right, it's funny. I'm glad Gav played that because I've been jealous of that drop that Gav found a couple of months ago. And I did just independently when I was editing the show the other week, just notice one of my own. So I had to go and just grab that.
Ah.
So Gav, let's do them back to back.
Go.
Ah.
You've got tennis.
Go. You know what your one is, Si? Your one is me trying not to do Gav's one. Me subconsciously realizing that I'm going to make that same noise again, so I try and catch myself. So yeah, now I've got another one to try and catch.
Yeah, just going to make sure the volume on that's appropriate. Ah, there you go. All right. Okay, so these are the ones proper now. You tell me which ones are these you prefer. So first one here from Mark Hansen. I'll hand it over to you.
Can't have anyone old, can't have anyone thin. Can't have anyone old, can't have anyone thin. I don't even remember saying that. Can't have anyone old, can't have anyone thin.
That's a nice way to. I thought a lot of use. You can leverage that in draft season quite often. I thought so.
Yeah, true.
The next one here, I think could be a favorite. We'll see.
Ooh.
Just gonna check the volume on this. Yep, good.
My tongue hurts. Leave me alone. Oh, for God's sake.
Ooh. Sorry, was that for God's sake part of it or not?
No, that was me.
Go. Ooh. Go.
This is the great thing about the game, Ran, is that you never know where the sound drop ends.
Go. Yeah. Ooh. Better be. I'm going to get myself nice and comfy because this is going to be a long one.
We're gonna play this one very cleanly, and then we'll move to the next one. So this is option 2.
Go.
My tongue hurts.
Gav added an O. The O was added. All right, and then number 3. This is my personal favorite. I got to be honest.
Go on then. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? You're not going to go anywhere. I've got you.
It's Mark Hansen on a mysterious Caribbean island.
Oh God. Oh dear. All fun and games.
Young and thick.
So, what are your thoughts? Any favourites there?
I like the young and the thin and the whatever it was one. That was good.
the old and thin. Yeah, yeah. Not too old, not too thin. Yeah.
Where are you gonna go? Reminds me of is that a Kate Nash song? Where are you gonna sleep tonight?
So can you sing us a little bit, Ran? I don't want to get copyright.
No.
So, Mark, what do you think of that? Do you like that?
I do say some shit, don't I? Yeah. No, I to be fair, I did really like the last one. I think I vaguely remember saying it. This is the thing. I don't remember doing these things. You're not going to go anywhere. I've got you.
Simon, when was the last time you did your bullying and harassment training at work? Just out of it.
It's funny how it always trends that way, isn't it? It's how I show love. Oh, what's that? Can you hear that? I heard a background wind. What's the background wind?
Oh, I think that might be Rich's mic coming in a little hot there.
Or it could be an aircon, potentially. Just jump on mute for us for a sec, Rich. Thank you. Okay. Okay, let's move on. Mark?
What a story,
Hi.
Mark.
Good Lord. Yep.
All right. News. Let's talk a little bit about what's been going on in Steelers land.
All right, hit that horn, babe. Let's dance. All right, let's go. Steelers on 3. 1, 2, 3. Steelers.
No, you see what happened there was we both played the sound drop at almost instantly the same time. So close, in fact, that it was almost unperceivable to the untrained ear.
That was cool. It's like a stereo effect.
One thing I wanted to talk, not really interesting, no, it is interesting, not important news, but I thought it was interesting as it relates to the draft. And this just dropped on Steelers Depot, and because I'm really going to verbatim read a quote here, please do go give them a click. Steelers Depot, of course, great place for long form Steelers content. By Troy Montgomery, dropped a couple hours ago. F the Steelers, former NFL quarterback recalls weirdest pre-draft experience with Pittsburgh. And this is talking about Cardale Jones. Anyone remember Cardale Jones? The quarterback?
You mean who is that?
You don't. I couldn't tell if people were joking. You actually don't remember Cardale Jones? Okay, wow. That's how quickly the world moves on. Cardale. He was the hottest thing 8 years ago when we started doing the show. Like, he was one of the draftable QBs. Really, no one here remembers Cardale Jones. You make me feel like this is a Nelson Mandela effect situation.
Well, he's here. I found him. Yeah.
You don't remember this guy?
Ohio.
In Buffalo for a while, I think. Where else was he? I can't even remember now. Yeah, he was an Ohio State quarterback. This is blowing my mind.
Yeah, it's gone from everyone's memory. Buffalo Bills.
Maybe I expected everyone to remember
Chargers. Anyway,
because he was kind of like a character as well. Like, he wasn't just like the most generic backup quarterback that you'd forget instantly. Anyway, whatever. Point is this: he recounted the interview that he had during draft season with the Steelers at that time. Now, obviously, a lot of that brain trust has moved on, but I just thought it was fascinating, and I wondered what you thought about it, because I think he actually kind of drops a self-own here without realizing it. So he's on a podcast. He says, "I walked in. The first thing Mike Tomlin says to me was, 'I hate your social media.' He says, I'm just like, nice to meet you too." As we get into talk and getting to know each other a little bit, someone at the back, where there was probably 20 or 25 people, he's asking, "How does my day go at Ohio State?" I'm trying to be as detailed as possible. Every time I'm trying to get into detail, he's cutting me off. So I turned into a straight jerk. I went full blown F you, F the Steelers. I don't even want to be here anymore. Everything I was saying, he was trying to talk over me, cut me off. That was by far the weirdest experience I had throughout the whole process. And then, if you know the story of Cardale Jones, like, he was a bit of a character, right? Like, and people knew this coming into the draft. And then his career goes a certain way, as we know by the fact that out of 4 people here that are all draft nicks, no one even remembers Cardale Jones' name.
Yeah, well, he played one game in the NFL. One game in the NFL in 2016.
Right. So
he was also a college national champion, though.
Right.
This is why I thought people would remember. But so, I just thought that was interesting, because it's like, that seems to, and I'm almost surprised the Steelers operate like that, but I'm kind of interested that they do. A guy like this that comes out where they know he's potentially a bit of a personality problem, and they really test him by like trying to wind him up. And it works, and he does get wound up, and he does flip out on them, and just isn't. I feel like you never hear stories of that kind of tactic working. You always hear like, oh, weird stuff NFL team does in draft interview, but to me that just jumped out as particularly interesting, like an example of it kind of maybe working, and you did see that Cardale Jones was a bust.
Right, drafted in the 4th round.
Yeah, where did he go? Who drafted him? Do you remember? Does it say
It's
that?
Bills. Yeah,
Buffalo.
Bills.
It was Bills.
Wow. I think that's proof that we've all got a memory horizon, and some things are just deleted to clear space for new people. Must be.
I totally get it though. Like some things just stick in your mind, right? Like I'm sure like I've forgotten every other quarterback from that draft, but for some reason Cardale Jones just sticks out.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the league until 2019, so it's not that long ago. It's about the time we started this pod, so yeah. Anyway, nice story though. Jason he says he's gone through more dimensions to find the stream. More dimensions than Doctor Who to find the stream again. So welcome back, Jason. Sorry for that.
Good to know it only takes 3 PhDs in metaphysics to find the stream.
Yeah, well, maybe I was a little early on saying I've mastered the streaming software. Anyway, let's move on.
All right, next up, we've got the rule proposals. I don't know how deep you want to get into this, if at all, really, but I've jotted them down here. I did want to specifically mention, just because I thought it was a little bit funny, the Steelers and Browns are the 2 teams that have team-initiated proposals this year. The rest of the proposals are from the competition committee. The Steelers and the Browns, the Steelers have submitted a really dry, boring proposal, right, just to make permanent the change that they already trialed for the allowing you to have unrestricted Zoom calls with draft prospects, right, during that negotiation window. That's really dry and boring, right? The Browns, they want to allow draft selections to be traded up to 5 seasons in the future. So the Browns, doesn't that say something about the Steelers and the Browns? The Browns are like, we would like to mortgage more of the future away, please.
Very Brownsian.
They just want to ruin themselves quicker. It's brilliant.
No, it's not quicker, just for longer.
Oh, sorry, not quicker. Yeah, longer even. Sorry.
Yeah. They've got a future to sell here. Let them sell it.
Now, what's the prisoner's dilemma here, right? Like, if you're the other teams voting on this, do you vote against it because it's fundamentally a bad idea, or do you vote for it to let the Browns further damage their own reputation and future?
I'd probably vote anything that disrupts the Browns. I'm going to vote for, but yeah, maybe that's why I don't have a vote.
What do you think the Browns like? There must be a reason for this, right? Like, surely the Browns aren't just sitting there like, we might want to trade,
they
really far in the future.
They really want to get Deshaun Watson off the roster. That's what it is, probably.
But what's that? How is that helped by them being able to trade 5 years of draft?
When is their new stadium ready?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm wondering if it's in about 5 years' time. I'm wondering if they're building up towards a grand.
Oh,
opening.
they want Arch Manning, right? They want to trade 5 years of picks for Arch Manning.
Oh, God.
All right. That'll be fun.
I have a feeling he'll go to court to stay another year in college. if they're the number one next year.
He'll do a chambliss, and just, no chance.
Well, we've seen Manning's upset the apple cart with the draft before, so
they have, and it worked out well for them.
Right. Worked out well for Drew Brees too. All right. The competition committee rules very quickly to permit the kicking team to declare an onside kick at any time during the game. I think that's generally a good idea. You've got to declare the kick now, obviously, right, with the new rules. But I never understood why it had to only be in the fourth quarter. Is that everyone on board with that?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Sense. Eliminate the kicking team's incentive to intentionally kick the ball out of bounds when kicking off from the 50-yard line. Danny Smith did that.
I'm on board with that one. Yeah, that's a good one.
That was just a bit of a loophole, right?
Yeah.
Modify the kickoff alignment requirements for the receiving team players in the setup zone. I don't even understand the kickoff rules as they are. I'm not even going to pretend to understand the changes they're making to them. Does anyone? Rich, I'm going to put you on the spot here because I've not spoke to you for a while, and so I don't know. How well do you understand the kickoff rules, the new kickoff rules?
Very little.
Right.
I remember the loophole, though. I think did the Steelers do it last year, I think, right? Didn't they take advantage of that loophole?
Yeah, Danny Smith was really excited because
he was waiting for that, I think. But I honestly, I'm really not versed too well in the rules.
I'm with you, and sorry, Rich, to put you on the spot. I only say that because you've been watching football for how many years, and I like the rest of us, and I don't know what's going on with this rule. But I will say this: it doesn't look awful, right? I can't explain it to someone when they ask me what are the rules anymore. But it doesn't. I think I prefer it, to be honest, to just kicking the ball out of bounds 99% of the time.
Yeah, I think so.
It
was hard to get used to the whole new alignment and all that. That was, like you said, I've been watching football a very long time, and it was tough to get used to that. But I think it's okay now. I'm kind of adjusted to it.
Allow league personnel to consult with on-field officials when considering disqualifications for flagrant football acts and non-football acts without being called on the field. So that's another Steelers-based rule. It's funny how the Steelers are always the center of attention with these things. DK Metcalf, of course, pulling the Lions. Have you got any update on the legal case there? I know he'd held multiple press conferences, the Lions fan, in the blue wig.
I hope not. I hope there's no update, and I hope he just fades into oblivion.
Is he going to monetize this somehow?
He was. He was. Wasn't he trying to sue someone for? Because I think the problem with DK was that DK was smart. He didn't say anything after the event, right? But unfortunately, someone else, I can't remember who it was now, someone else went on a podcast and said that he'd been told by DK Metcalf that it was a racially motivated incident or something, right? And then that's what's kind of, unleashed this sack of potatoes. But who knows? Who knows who said what? And it's just all the who said, he said, she said. But the thing is, right, this is what, I've brought this up in the past as regards to this exact incident and the impact it had on the playoffs. Again, the outsized impact that this man in a blue wig in one primetime game had on the entire league, he's now got a rule changed.
Nuts. Yeah.
Anyone could do this. Embrace your own free will. I'm not saying to abuse players on the sideline, but
I think you are. I think
you didn't abuse him. You just called him by his full name.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Supposedly. What is his full name again? Deirdre.
Don't say that. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Are you saying to let the intrusive thoughts win, Si? Is that what you're saying?
Potentially, depending on what they are. I mean, don't throw your phone out the car window, don't jump off the bridge, but sometimes they could be fun. All right, let's move swiftly off that. 5, for 1 year only. Now, this is interesting. For 1 year only to allow the NFL officiating department to correct clear and obvious misses made by on-field officials that impact the game in the event that there is a work stoppage involving the game officials represented by the NFL Referees Association. So, for anyone not clued into this, not only is there the NFL Players Association, but you also have, of course, the NFL Referees Association, and they are due their renegotiation of their contracts this offseason. So there's starting to be some talk, and there's some public posturing going on that this might potentially result in a refereeing holdout, which I believe there's been in the past. Is that right?
Yeah. I can't remember how many years ago it was now that they had the what's majigga refs come in. The
Replacement?
what's the word for them? Yeah, they just kind of replacement. The ones that were god awful. Yeah, how many years ago was that now? That's a while ago now.
Did they ever leave?
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah. But this, if those negotiations don't go well, some of the officiating, if it's as bad as it was before when that happened, oh, we're in trouble. We are in trouble.
So that's what, and that's, I guess, that's what this rule seeks to address, right? And isn't that interesting that they're sort of saying like, well, we could be the hand of God here a little bit if we decide that, we want to go. We don't want to be left in a situation like we were, as you say, Matt, the last time where we've got to draft in these high school refs, and if we do, we want to have ultimate control over the games, not these also runs. Sorry, I always do that when you're here, Ram. Got to stop.
That's all right.
All right. Any other thoughts? Any thoughts on these? Everything okay with the stream, Gav? How are you?
We're good. Let's just push ahead. We're good.
All right. Let's just push ahead. All right. Shut up and get to the draft stuff, he says.
No, I don't mean like that. I just meant the stream's fine. These rules, they're okay. There's nothing too exciting about them, really, is it? I don't think.
Tush push is gone.
Yeah, no, that's been shelved, hasn't it? It's because people have kind of worked it out now. So, I think they have in a way. Like, I suppose it's just Philly just couldn't do it properly again, once that kind of dropped off.
And I'm going to, I was always against the tush push, and I still am. I'm not backing off this take just because the Eagles got. I think if you back off the take now, you're just proving the Eagles' point that you were just upset that the Eagles could do it well.
What about all the wrinkles that the Steelers came up with last year? That was exciting, wasn't it?
Oh, well, that's true, and it is true that it was a kind of a way to almost put the microscope over how play concepts develop, right, real time in the season, because the play concept is so simple in its base, and that all these guys are just clumped up in the middle. That even the most ridiculous dolt like me can see all the players in one space, and then how those different pieces are moving around to play off that. So I will give you that was an interesting case study. I still just think that, like, look, there's loads of formations and things and various like lineups that are banned for.
But I just don't
know why we're drawing the line here.
I don't know how you legislate against the tush push. Though, what, you can't push a player from behind? I mean that's a grey area.
This is how lawyers get away with stuff to me, right? Is that they hide behind language. We all know the tush push. I don't want to hear like, oh, we can't ever push anyone ever again. No, we all know you can. Shut up, nerd.
Yeah, but
I'll say it's a foul. I'm in charge.
You've got to put it into writing exactly to define it, right? And
that's what you would say, lawyer.
Yeah. It's like the classic thing about pornography. The judge says, I can't define it, but I know it when I see it, right? You know a tush push when you see it, but you can't define it. So how do you make a rule about it?
Right. Well, let's ask the UK government because they've banned porn. Aaron Rodgers watch.
Great segue.
Oh no! Perfect.
I think he brought any material into that dark room cave thing that he was in for a month.
What, Braille?
No, he's got a wife. He's too busy having a wife who he really wants to have sex with.
Have sex with him.
Allegedly.
That's another thing I wanted to ask Rich about. Another gentleman recently married, Rich. Do you believe that Aaron Rodgers' wife is real?
I do. I think he's just a super private person. I do believe she's real.
She's on record that she's real. I don't know. I'm still unsure. It could go either way with Aaron. But what I will say, so sorry, because I've got enough off track with the wedding thing. He went on McAfee a few weeks ago. He said that, and I think this is something that people have either missed or kind of glossed over because I think Aaron Rodgers, maybe people don't, like we say, fully trust and believe everything that comes out of his mouth. But I actually think on the base of it, like Rich says, he's actually a pretty open book guy, right? And he said it on Pat McAfee, he said, I will sign for the Steelers when there's a deal on the table. There is no deal on the table. And I think a lot of people thought that maybe that was just posturing or like whatever. And people are still speaking now as if, Aaron Rodgers is holding the Steelers ransom or whatever. But I'm hearing no like definitive updates from Omar Khan, from Mike McCarthy, from anyone involved in the front office. The only evidence I really have to go off was Aaron Rodgers going on Pat McAfee. And I thought there was I heard a really interesting writing on another show recently where someone wrote in and was like, Aaron Rodgers had only been on Pat McAfee 3 times before this when he was a member of the Steelers. And each time was for like a very specific purpose, like either to get a message out there, or one of those times was when obviously the McAfee show visited Steelers training camp. And he was like, what was the purpose of this last McAfee interview on the base of it? Like, there isn't one. There would be no real purpose for him to go on in the offseason at this time unless he wanted to get out ahead and lay out the groundwork and say, look, I don't actually have a deal. It's not me who's delaying this or holding the Steelers ransom or whatever else everyone's saying. I don't have a deal on the table. I can't sign it. And does that potentially point to one or multiple of Ty Simpson, Will Howard, Kirk Cousins being the starting quarterback this season? I know it's a lot to discuss, but Mark, I'll throw it to you. What are your thoughts on that? Is there any credence to that idea that Aaron going on Pat McAfee and laying that out might potentially highlight the Steelers not having interest in him in 2026?
I'm not entirely sure because you do hear Mike McCarthy, every so often talk about it, and he's still, he's very careful with his words, but he's still talking about how he would love to have Aaron Rodgers. In his opening press conference, he said that the door's open for him, and I don't know how much he's getting involved with it. I guess it's more we kind of need to hear from Omar Khan more than anything else on that, but. There's no reason not to believe Aaron, although, Aaron did say it would be his last year and, he may go back against that word. So who knows?
That's experiential, right? Like that's him saying something a season in advance and then things change as the season goes on.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. But, I don't know. I just the only thing is I just don't want it to roll on as long as it did. And people were like, "Oh no, it won't roll on as long as it did previously." It's like, well, it's April next week, and draft is very close, and I think it's time to start getting some sort of answers. But I do think it's in the hands of the head office now.
I think that's what I'm trying to say. Is like, I think if both sides knew that they wanted to be together in 2026, that it would not have held out this long. And it almost feels to me as if it's coming from the front office and that they want to get to the draft without a quarterback plan in place.
What about
Whether
you?
that be... Yeah, sorry, go.
I was going to say, what about you? Are you gunning for Rodgers this year after the experience last year, or are you not so keen?
I'm not, and it's not an anti-Rodgers thing. I think probably most listeners to this show will recognise that I think I and most of the people on this podcast enjoyed the Rodgers experience probably more than we expected to last season, and we liked the competence of the offense, and we appreciated a lot of the performances that Aaron Rodgers put in. And this is not me saying that Aaron Rodgers is washed or definitely, relatively, or couldn't play for in the league or whatever. But just in terms of my interest for 2026, I just think it's time to turn the page. You could argue maybe, if you look, I haven't been in the room, so I don't know the value of it. But if you think the value of Aaron Rodgers coaching up a guy like Will Howard, or even a guy that you draft if you potentially do, it's so valuable that that makes it worth it, then I'm okay with that if that's the plan. If it's just for the sake of running Aaron Rodgers back for the sake of it and to try and win as many games with him, I just don't really see the point of that, to be honest. We know where it heads. We know it's not going to take us anywhere new. I just think why not at least get some information on some other investigative route,
Sure.
Do you not think if you put... I'm sorry, go ahead, Gab.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, do you not think that if you put a better team around him, and they certainly could use improvement in a number of areas, do you think that they could make a run in the playoffs? And the reason I ask is they may want to sign him back because you have the T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward whole deal with those guys, because how often those guys, I think they're both going to end up being Hall of Famers, right? And how often do you get players like that? And they don't have much left. I mean, you still got a lot of productivity out of Cam. TJ's obviously take the dip, but he's still TJ Watt. So do you use Aaron Rodgers because if you think you could put better players around him, specifically offensive weapons, and you have a new defensive coordinator, I think is going to make a huge difference with the team, with the defense. Do you think you could make that playoff run? Is that possibly why they're looking to re-sign him? Or would look to resign him?
I mean, I think we would have said that was the perceived goal when we had that Rooney press conference, right? Just after Mike departed and Mike joined, just before Mike joined, and he basically, he famously said, like, we're not a team that's going to try and what's the term? Rebuild? Yeah, we're not a team that's going to try and rebuild. We're going to be competing, and I think that so under that sort of philosophy, Rich, I completely agree that Aaron Rodgers almost undoubtedly, as we sit here today, is your most likely option to the best chance to succeed and make a run in the playoffs. So I do agree with that. I think for me, it's just that in a year with a new coach, admittedly, Mike McCarthy and Rodgers are very familiar with each other, but just in terms of having a new coach for the Steelers, a defense that, while you're right, some real Hall of Fame players, do we think that the defense is currently at its peak? Or maybe you do, Rich, as you say, you were excited about the new defensive coordinator and the new scheme, and we'll see how it goes. And maybe I'm underestimating just what an injection of fresh coaching staff and all this can have. But as I sit here and I look at it today, I just think that the odds of us realistically competing with the best the AFC has to offer, let alone whoever the NFC might send to a Super Bowl, are just basically null and void to me as we sit here today with Aaron Rodgers. And that the only and again, you might disagree. I could be wrong. How does everyone else feel? I'll stop rambling. Gav, how do you feel about this debate?
Well, you talk about an injection of other talent. Tom Allen's just said, "What about wait for the 27 draft and Liko Lamalieva to save the Steelers?" I mean, it's true. I mean, I don't think you should be writing off Aaron Rodgers. If he could play for several years yet. And I want to see what he could do in this new brain trust.
But okay, but look at where we were at the end of last season, because Aaron Rodgers, I think we all agree, exceeded our expectations right last season in a lot of ways. And still, by the end of the year, he was a guy who was struggling to take contact. He didn't have time in the pocket. He was doing his darndest, man. I mean, he was rushing for more yards than I think he'd had in a season in a decade. But God bless him. But I just don't think ultimately it's going to be enough for this Steelers team to get over the hump. I mean, this isn't Matt Stafford on a Rams team that feels like it's about to burst over the edge. I don't know. And again, this doesn't mean you have to go out and draft a first-round quarterback or you have to get Ty Simpson or whatever. To me, that could just be and I don't want to be one of these yinzers that's just like, wow, we got Will Howard. So, that wasn't a Pittsburgh accent. I don't know what that was.
Do you think he's waiting to see what's going to happen in the draft?
That's what yes, and that could both be drafting a quarterback, or it could be trading for a quarterback or moving for a quarterback. Unfortunately, in my opinion, like Kirk Cousins. When it comes to draft time, or just before draft time, or just after, when teams have sort of finalized what those rooms are going to look like. So.
Great point from Stephen on the stream. Says what would really help Rodgers is guys that can get open. So maybe that's why he was taking sacks and running around, is he didn't have any damn receivers. Thanks, Stephen.
Well, or he wasn't protected properly.
Well, a bit of both.
Listen, I'll give you this. Yeah. If the Steelers somehow find a way with a new coaching staff in year one to give Aaron Rodgers the best offensive line, the best wide receiver core, and just that, if they manage to do that, the best weapons in the league and the best offensive line in the league, then maybe we will have a shot. But I just don't see the world where that happens.
I love this when Simon's on an island, and not only is it us, but it's also the listeners firing in. This is great. More of this.
I hate to be the guy who's done that. Maybe this is me being out of it for a little, a couple months, and I hate to be the guy who does this. But I'm hearing a lot of cope from the room right now. Look at where we were 2 months ago.
Cope. This isn't cope.
In the chat. There's a lot of Steelers cope in the room right now.
Hashtag hope. Hope, not cope.
No, I mean, look at McCarthy. He's the best offensive-minded coach the Steelers maybe have ever had. Certainly better than Tomlin, Cowher, and probably Noel. They were all defensive-minded. So, I mean, he's the right guy for Rodgers, and we have better weapons already with adding Pittman.
Right.
But what was this one thing he always complained about in Green Bay that they never drafted for him? Is wide receivers. So,
which was true.
Yeah. So that's the one thing you said. And as soon as Love took over, they drafted a wide receiver in the first draft. So maybe he'll feel, maybe he already feels that someone's thinking of him and is going to be taken care of with the new signing with Pittman. Maybe they take a wide receiver in the first round. You never know.
Let me put this to you, Richard, as just to tie a bow on this. Because I think the opportunity cost, right, of what I'm saying and forgoing this season of Aaron Rodgers, if you to bring Aaron Rodgers back, the opportunity cost is getting to see that season of someone else starting at quarterback, right? And let's just say for a second right now that is Will Howard. Obviously, we can replace that name with whoever you like at a later date. Do you think there's an argument that what we might find out from that season has potentially a value that's, might outweigh the chance of where we're going to go with an Aaron Rodgers in 2026? I know you don't think that. It's a silly question to ask you because you've just said you believe in Aaron Rodgers this season under Mike McCarthy. But I guess what I'm saying is, do you see that opportunity cost of what I'm trying to get out of this season at least?
Certainly. Yeah, I absolutely do it. But I think, again, it's that TJ Watt, Cam Hayward effect.
Yeah, you don't throw a season away.
They may look at it like, hey, this is probably our last chance to really possibly make a run for a while. We need to take advantage of these guys while we have them. And because, I don't know if they don't, if something happens with TJ, next season, not this upcoming season, but the following season, because I mean, he's obviously not as good as he once was. And, I don't know. I just look at it like they may look at it like this is our last chance for a while to really make a run, because it's not a total rebuild, but it's going to end up being pretty close.
Do you agree with when Ketz was quite early on the trade TJ thing? Do you think they should have done that? Like, when was that? 2 off seasons ago, Ketz was saying that. Do you think now, looking back, that's what they should have done?
Well, the stats would back that up. Look at Herbig. He had the best, what was it, sack ratio? I think it was the stat call better than Highsmith and Watt. So if you would have injected him, he's not as good. He doesn't hold the edge as well as TJ does on the run, for sure. But he may be a better pass rusher right now, So yeah, I think if you look at how TJ's last 2 seasons have gone, that probably would have been the better way to go. But I certainly understand them not doing it. I mean, it's TJ Watt, but I think it probably would have been.
Well, it would have been completely against the grain had they done that. It's as you said, it's TJ Watt. He's more than just the numbers. His presence is part of the team. The Steelers way that has to be passed on, that would have been a landmark. If you traded him, then you're showing that you're about to make a much bigger change. You're giving up. He's the kind of player for the fans, for all the supporters, for the rest of the team. You couldn't have done that. I don't think that would have been a good move.
They've done it before, though, Rand, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong, because, it's like, you hear the argument with him all the time. He even when he's not getting the stats, he's impacting the game, obviously, and he's a game wrecker. But they've done it before, Franco Harris and Rod Woodson. They've done it to both. They did it to both those guys.
And Rod Woodson got a Lombardi.
I think Rod got a Super Bowl out of it, didn't he, with the Ravens?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, got a Lombardi trophy. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he was a natural safety. He played it in Purdue. I don't know why the Steelers didn't just transfer him to safety if they thought he lost a step. That's what the Ravens did. It was a smart move.
Yeah, and they kind of did it with James Harrison. It felt like they shuffled him off kind of too early as well, right?
Maybe. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
Any decision you make's the wrong one.
Yeah, that's true.
The Steelers also, last thing before we can get to the draft stuff, the Steelers made 2 signings this week, I believe. Correct me if any of these were made before the last episode you did. Brock Hoffman is official. That was leaked a little while ago, right? And then kind of sat in limbo for a while, because I think we spoke about it, Matt, on an episode.
We did, and then it was kind of played down, and then it now has become official. So that was a weird one, but Brock Hoffman now officially with us.
So Brock Hoffman, veteran offensive lineman, now with the team. We'll see how he figures into the team's plans in 2026. I would imagine potentially he'll be competing for one of those backup, or potentially even a starting role, depending on how the draft goes. But I would imagine probably rotating around as one of those backup guys.
He's only 26, isn't he? I think Hoffman.
Yep, 26.
Yeah.
And the Steelers also signed Travis Homer.
Yeah, we haven't spoken about that. Yeah, that's a recent one.
So that kind of ties into what we're going to talk about. So that's why I put this last. Oh, wow, what great planning on my behalf.
Although we did want to talk to Ran about Mike McCarthy.
Oh, damn. No, again.
No.
So, Ran, when you do your Mike McCarthy roundup, please make sure to end on a running back note, so we've got a good segue. Travis Homer, what do we make it? Does this impact the running back draft strategy at all, do we think? I think he's probably going to be... He's a core special teamer, Travis Homer. That's mainly been his role in the last few seasons, not broke into kind of main offensive play in action. So could he potentially be the RB3? Of course he could. We'll see how that goes. But Caleb Johnson, does it affect his, future under a new coaching?
Yeah, I was going to say he's more the victim than the guy in the draft, right? This is not a good sign for Johnson. They've got his progress blockers effectively. I mean, sure, Homer's going to be a return man, probably first and foremost, right? We lost Calvin Austin, so makes sense. But I'd say they probably trust Homer over Johnson at as an RB3, right? I'd have thought.
That's it. Yeah, if you're going to
have as a returner, yeah.
Well, and a running back, yeah.
You're going to have Dowdle and Warren, and then if you only want to carry 3 running backs, and Travis Homer's your returner.
Yeah, exactly.
So Caleb Johnson, if nothing else, he's on notice, right? This is about as much notice as a second-year, third-round pick could be on. Although the Steelers did cut a third-round pick like 10 years ago. Who was that? It was like a corner. I don't remember. I'm really pulling out.
Well, there was Senquez Golson, but he was injured.
Oh, he had a couple seasons though. There was was it something Grant, Dorian Grant?
Oh, Duran Grant. He was later, wasn't he? He was like a 5th round pick or something. Hang on, I'm pulling this up.
Well, while you pull that up, Stephen in the chat says, I fear Johnson is a trade package candidate. We kind of discussed this a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? About the idea that could Caleb Johnson not get a second year and already be moved on? Is it better for both parties potentially? As I had seen kicking about on social media, I'm willing to give him another chance, but yeah, especially with the team bringing Travis Homer in now, it's an interesting one with Caleb.
For sure, yeah. Duran Grant was a 4th round pick in 2015.
He was third round.
He bumped around the league and was still on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in 2020.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
There you go.
And who can forget the COVID season of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers? Secondary room with Dorian Grant leading the way.
He was they took 2 safeties that year. Did they draft him as a cornerback? But he ended up they tried to move him to safety, didn't they, or something?
Well, I think they were playing him in the nickel.
Yeah, maybe it was that. Yeah,
but yeah, it was only in training camp. So.
Right.
Anyway, that's your Dorian Grant corner for those interested. All right, should we talk? Oh, wait, Ran, you wanted to get some thoughts off about the Steelers coaching changes because this has been your first chance to talk about it. So, and obviously, coaching consigliere of the podcast. So,
well, I've been keep hearing Kets complaining about the process and how he thinks they went about it the wrong way. But I was thinking about it, trying to and read what Mike McCarthy has been saying. By the way, I'm trying a new trend. I'm going to call him MMC. See how it goes. He, when he came in, he was saying that the team seems in a good state, and he doesn't think it needs to be broken up and everything being ripped apart and start again. And I think that's one of the reasons he probably was chosen, because the Rooneys they like that. They like the fact that the team, the basis is there, and he can come in and make it better. And I won't be surprised if all these young McVeigh disciples were over the phone, over Zoom, were saying, yeah, we need to rip everything apart. We need to, trade the number one picks for the next 3 years, or now that maybe could do it for 5 years, and be rubbish for ages, and then come up and big and have a new gym and the new facilities and all of that. And the Rooney's don't want to hear that. They wanted to hear the team is not that bad and we can improve that. And they went completely 180. It's not a young new coach, and he's an offensive coach. I think it shows it's probably braver to do that and to go what everybody expected and go with the young defensive coach.
Do you think
and the stuff
sorry, I was going to say, do you think they ever were going to do anything else? I mean, I suspect now, looking back, that this was the plan all along, and they did the kind of Rooney rule, and then they just wanted to go with Mike McCarthy.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they had. I'm not sure how much influence some of the minority shareholders had, and it just seemed to be the Steelers thing to do. I think they were just surprised to hear that, hold on a second, maybe we're not that bad. We don't need to rip everything apart. And traditionally, family-owned teams spend less money. And I think they enjoyed hearing that.
Well, that's something we definitely have experienced that, because you only have to look at the
report cards.
The report cards, yeah, and the other facilities and all that, and also the lack of coaches. So, I think sometimes when you look at this franchise, as much as what the Rooneys have done, that there could potentially be holding the team back slightly financially. So maybe that's more to blame than the draft strategy.
Well, they're the owners.
Stuff. Yeah,
it's their team. It's always been their team, so it's their prerogative. And if the team punches above its weight, then that's great. But also, what's the biggest risk they can have here? What's the worst thing that can happen? It is, it's still a transition. So I think it's a potentially a shrewd move. What I do like is what MMC put around him. I mean, the coaches that he brought in, I think, yes, they are, they all worked with him before, pretty much all of them. And, it's not Green Bay, though. If you look at the history of Green Bay coaches, so many of them came from Pittsburgh. But Patrick Graham, I mean, I love that. I even mentioned that in previous conversations. He was my number 2 choice. I preferred to have Deronta Jones, from the Viking. He was assisting Brian Flores for a long time, but he went to the Commanders now. He's he's the Commander defensive coach. But Patrick Graham's great. He worked with Max Crosby for 3 years, so he knows. He's been a very popular coach. Even he was in Las Vegas before. So all these coaching changes, all the turmoil they had there, they kept him. They didn't change him. So very clearly he was doing something right. So I think that is it's a very good choice. Also, because MMC is going to call the offensive plays, that means if, as I hope, Pittsburgh do well, then that no one's going to take him away all of a sudden to become a head coach somewhere else, because he will be the one calling the plays. So the structure is good, but there's 2 particular appointments that I really liked. Number 1 is Patrick Riley. This guy, 2005. So in 2005, 6 teams had only 2 official analytics staff members. Yeah, only 2. So the Cardinals, the Bengals, the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Rams, and the Steelers, all of them had just 2 analytics staff. The Broncos, Patriots had 3, Seahawks had 4, Ravens, Giants, 49ers, and Eagles had 6. Some teams had more. But this guy, Patrick Riley, he's the new defensive quality control. So he's been 6 years in the league. He worked as an assistant in various guises, an analyst, quality control for 15 years. Yeah, for 15 years, that's all he's been doing. From 18 to 20, he was defensive analyst at Alabama with Nick Saban, Steve Sarkisian. Defensive coach is Pete Golding. Now he's the head coach at Ole Miss. Defensive back was Carl Scott. Now he's the Seahawks pass game coordinator. So he's been working with the best for a long time. He had a stint with the Jags, then with the Houston Texans as offensive assistant. This guy, all his job is to look at opponents' teams' plays and find out what they do, and then apply it to his teams. He's a John Carroll alum, which means he spent time in Akron, even though it was years after Tom Arth was head coach there. But there is some sort of a link there. The
only weird thing about Pat Riley I can see on his bio here that I've pulled up on the stream is his defensive assistant is what he's been hired as. But you look at his last year, he was on the offense. He was his offensive assistant, quality control.
And he zigs and zagged throughout his career, as you can probably see. But this is the fact that he's been doing this for 15 years and he's been working with all these people means that he's very good in what he does. And that's why he keeps being hired doing that. And the fact that now he's at the Steelers, I think personally that he chose going in a slightly different direction. The other guy I was going to mention, Eric Simonelli. I hope that's how comes. So he was the assistant linebackers coach at TCU. I know that really probably impresses you all. You're thinking Texas Christian University is the hotbed of football coaches. But he has spent only 1 year with the Horned Frogs. Before that, he was on MMC staff in various roles. As a football research assistant, quality control coach. He was head coach assistant and analytics specialist. In 22, he assisted defensive line coach Aiden Durday in preparing the defensive line for upcoming opponents' techniques. So this is what he was doing. He's just this guy. What he does, he looks up whatever the other team does, whether he was offensive, defensive assistant, and comes up with schemes how to counteract that. So basically, the Steelers doubled the number of analytic staff they had. So they had 2 before. Now they have 4. Woohoo! So
that's not a small thing, though. That is good. I mean, that is great intel, and I think it shows.
I think it shows a particular way of thinking and a new direction. I know that it doubling from 2 to 4 is not amazing, but still, it's like the Bills, the Panthers, the Seahawks. They've got 4.
It shows a change of focus, right? And that's a good thing. I mean, we all know Tomlin was more of an instinctual, gut-based coach, right? And perhaps this shows that they're slightly more, Paul Podesta.
Willing to look at the numbers. Yeah. And the fact there'll be more staff members, more people thinking about it, more people looking at it, it can only be a good thing. It is a new. MMC said previously that analytics has always been part of football, and it has. It was evolving with time. There was a time that was just looking at tape. Now you look at numbers and statistics, and all the tools they have now are different. So you need to have more people look at it in different ways. I know that more coaches doesn't mean immediate success. Cleveland Browns had 10 analytics staff last year. 10. So the most in the league. So I don't know.
Well, that defense was
pretty
good.
How this works here.
I love Gav has the serious question. I have the silly one.
Yeah. Go with the silly one.
How do you think that room smells with the 10 analytics dudes?
Unwashed.
Now, Gav, for the serious question.
I just said the defense wasn't too bad. So if some of those analytics were working on the defensive side, it wasn't such a bad job. I know we'd like to laugh at Cleveland, but actually, their defense was decent last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean they have the sack holder, the defensive player of the year. Yeah. It shows something.
Anyway, thanks for that, Rand. I always appreciate your coaching corners, man. You always highlight something interesting, and you've done it there again. So thank you.
Rich?
Yeah, nice work, Rand.
Sorry, I thought you-
I'm sorry, you wanted me to say something?
no, sorry. I heard you come in because I heard the aircon. So-
Oh, no, I was just going to say, nice job, nice work.
Yeah, you can't sneak in, Rich, because your aircon like comes in as a little fade up. As soon as you start talking, it goes away, but it's just like a little entrance. So every time you go to speak, we'll all shut up so you can talk.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's all right.
All right,
It's all
You
good.
know, I was thinking, do you think is there a kebab for how long before someone asks for Mike Tomlin next season?
Shout
God,
out
who's the most likely on this pod to be begging for Tomlin to come back?
Please be Jets.
Yeah, it's not going to be Kets.
Oh, it's got to be Kets again. 100%.
No, I think only Rich is below Ketz in those odds.
Probably. I have the most volatile Mike Tomlin take you'll ever hear. So I probably even am worse than Kets.
No, I'm
Yeah,
really-
exactly. Yeah.
What if the Steelers go 0-4 in the first 4 games? You know, what then?
It'll make a great change because normally the Steelers have a good start and a bad ending. Maybe it's a bad start and a good ending.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good. That's for sure. I don't see it happening, but hey, you never know.
Yeah. Right, cool. Should we hit the draft stuff?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's jump into the draft. All right, 2026 running back class. I'll let Matt give a better preview than I probably can. But I will say, Mark, that my understanding is, and we spoke about it before the show. Let's be clear that there's one running back, Jeremiah Love, who stands out above the rest in this class, and then outside of that, it's kind of viewed broadly as a bit of a weak running back class. Is that fair?
I would say weak. I know that our good friend Tom, Steel City, who was on the show last week, he said that, I believe he said that this is the worst running back class in a long time. I disagree only because I remember, what was it, 2 years ago? The 24 class, which, had a lot of great talent around it, but the running back group in that, I think, wasn't Jonathan Brooks the first one taken in like the back end of the second or start of the third or something insane like that? That was a rough group of running backs. That was really poor.
Did any backs end up coming out of that like later that we didn't expect?
Well, Bucky Irving was mine and Gav's guy out of that draft, and he's done all right out of that. So yeah, I can't remember who else was in that group, but yeah, definitely is in terms of prospects, that was a really, really rough group. At least this group has, as you say, the aforementioned Jeremiah Love. But I actually quite like some of this class a bit better than I thought I would. I think there's some really interesting talent in here. It's not going to set the world alight. I think there's a good group of RB2s and good committee backs to kind of join forces with people. But yeah, we're obviously going to talk about the main guy, and he's going to be light years ahead of everybody else, really, in terms of talent. I don't think there's going to be too much pushback on that. But Rich has banned us from red starring Jeremiah Love. I don't think anybody had that intention anyway. Hopefully, but you could see easily why he would be the red star of this group, just for how great he is. But yeah, I'm very intrigued to see who everybody goes for in terms of like their red stars, because I think it's a little bit of a varied and interesting group below it. So yeah, I mean, who wants to kick off with Jeremiah Love? I mean, I don't mind kicking off with Jeremiah Love if people want, but I think he's definitely the guy to start with.
Yeah, I'll let you guys decide. I think I know obviously Ran and Rich have got some names on their list. Gav, I don't know if Gav, did you watch any of this running back class?
No,
Or
I mean
you like me?
I've seen Jeremiah Love because he's awesome, but no,
Right.
I didn't do a deep dive. I'm too busy doing those cut videos. But I do want
and,
to.
and,
Go on.
and great work it is too. And
Thank
great
you
work.
very much, thank you. But yeah, I
It
do
is.
want to watch the wide receivers because I like to do them. But yeah, I think it's Love and then everyone else. So yeah, I'll shut up now. Let everyone else talk.
All right, well, dive in then, Mark. Let's go. And let's say Jeremiah Love, he's a mover, but I'm going to let you go for it. You've watched him properly.
Yeah. So Jeremiah Love, Notre Dame running back, 20 years of age, will be 21 the end of May. 6 foot, 212 pounds. I mean, what have we've already just said about Jeremiah Love? Just unbelievable, light years ahead of anybody else in this class. So what what helps him stand out? He's an unbelievably smooth mover, pristine jump cuts, some absolutely filthy spins on tape. I watched the Arkansas game, and there's a spin in that for a touchdown in the first quarter of that game that is just an absolute thing of beauty. It is the smoothest spin you'll ever see. Just exceptional in that respect. Amazing initial burst, great vision and patience. Has receiving chops as well, often lining up in the slot. So a versatile, lethal weapon to use. Only one fumble in 3 years as well. 2 90+ yard touchdowns this season, which is just absolutely crazy as well. He's basically towards the top of pretty much every metric, or at least close to the top of every metric you can have, particularly this season, and pretty much had a similarly productive 2024 as well. I think this was probably the standout year, but there was definitely a lot of hype around Jeremiah Love coming into the year anyway, based off his 2024 tape, and then he just absolutely smashed it from there. So definitely not a one season wonder. Fights for every yard. Got a track background. He ran a 100 meters in 10.76 seconds. Way back when. So he's definitely got the speed that you love to see. It was really nitpicky when it came to like some of the cons in here that I was kind of looking at. I think he's definitely a willing blocker, and I think it works well at times. It will be interesting to see how that translates at the next level. I think against some of the more NFL porridge eating guys, that it may get a little bit trickier. But he may well prove me wrong on that one. But I think, again, another nitpicky thing with his receiving ability, I'd like to see a bit more. I think I just saw a lot of out routes with him, and not really much in the way of a route tree. I'd like to see a few more branches to the tree potentially. It's probably what it's just the way the Notre Dame offense was set up, and he's such a good runner anyway. But it would be nice to add a few branches to that to just make him just an unbelievable receiving threat as well. I think a lot of his best games were against kind of less than brilliant opposition, but again, not terrifically like poor teams, just less than incredible. I think kind of his last the kind of national championship run that the Notre Dame had last year, he was a little bit quieter in that run. So that's certainly something to note. But man, it's nitpicky. Really, really nitpicky. Doak Walker Award winner of this year, unanimous All-American this year. He also won. Don't know if anybody else had this down. He won the Disney's Disney's Wide World of Sports Spirit Award. Has anybody ever heard of this award?
Sounds like a cash
No, but
laundry
Spirit
scheme.
sounds good.
This is given to college football's most inspirational individual or team. So it's not necessarily just given to players. There's a wide range of different people who have won this award, and teams as well. East Carolina, won it in 1999. Obviously, the United States Service Academies won it in 2001 in the aftermath of 9/11. And can anybody name the former Steeler who has won the Wide World of Sports Spirit Award?
Yes. I'm guessing, though. I don't know it.
Go for it.
James Conner. James
Conner indeed did win it in 2016. Obviously, he had the diagnosis of Hodgkin lymphoma.
Potentially not the best celebration I've ever done there, but at least he got over it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He had a successful career, still having a successful career, and beat cancer, and is an inspiration for lots of people all over the world. So I don't think you
absolutely, 100%. Yeah,
that's for the cheers, not for the Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Yes, but I mean, Jeremiah Love has been very open about his childhood with social difficulties. He kind of has, I believe, it's like an undiagnosed autism, I think it is, or something like that. There's some brilliant film out there, with him talking about it, and his parents as well talking about it. He made his own comic book hero as well. I cannot remember. I thought I noted it down what the name of this this comic book character was. But yeah, he's designed his own comic book character as well off the field. Man, yeah, I mean, inspiring others by overcoming challenges to become the player that he is, and what a player he is. Undoubtedly, incredibly talented player, great athletic upside, all the tools of being a terrific rushing and receiving threat at the NFL level. A lot of nitpicking. The slight concern of, playing the likes of Georgia, Ohio State, Miami, some of the productivity dipping a little bit there. Kind of caught my eye a little bit, but yeah, he is going to be exceptional at the next level. Do I love him as much as I loved Ashton Genty last year? I don't think I do, but I think it's purely because I love the style of runner Ashton Genty is compared to Jeremiah Love. I think Genty's just more my cup of tea in terms of what I like as a back. But when all's said and done, in the top 100, when I do my top 100, I think Jeremiah Love, I haven't watched the corners and linebackers yet, but I think Jeremiah Love is probably going to be in the top 3 of that top 100. He is just an outstanding player. I'm a +1. I'm not +2 on any of these guys this year in the running back class. But Matt, I mean, yeah, he's 4th in the consensus. I do think he's going to go 4th to the Titans. So, God help you, Jeremiah, there. But yeah, he is absolutely, undoubtedly first round worthy. We talk about running back value. No, this guy is 100% going to be a first round back. And if he falls out of the top 10, I do not know what's happened. I think his ceiling is the Commanders at 7. I don't think he gets anywhere past that. But yeah, I feel like Tennessee are gonna absolutely jump all over him at 4. He is a terrific talent.
Wow, 4 to 7 is his potential range. The Titans
could even go 3. He could even go 3 if Arizona think they love him that much. So,
if
someone might change up.
Yeah, all that. Yeah.
And Mark, and maybe Rich and Ram, maybe you can help answer this as well. Compared to a guy like, and not necessarily comparing him to this, but just in terms of like play style and elusive backs, and a guy who went so early, compared to a guy like Christian McCaffrey who went in this similar position. I mean,
he's
is this
getting comped to Christian McCaffrey, isn't he? I'm not sure.
Yeah, he is.
I'm not sure. I don't see that. I think he's a different kind of player. You tell me, but I don't see that comp. I know he's got, he's good through the air, but he's just a different rusher, isn't he? He's different style of.
But does he have that kind of top 5 value? I know it's hard when the classes change every year, right? And what is top 5 value compared to one year to another? But you know what I'm trying to say. Backs generally don't go this high, right? Unless they are, Saquon Barkley or Christian McCaffrey. Basically,
I think he's worth it personally.
I think he's right there with Saquon. Saquon was a beast coming out of Penn State. Maybe a tick below, but definitely Bijan. You can compare him to Bijan for sure. I think this guy's elite. Absolutely, the Titans should jump on him.
What do you like about him, Rich? What makes you think he's?
Oh my gosh, man! You know what really jumps out the most to me is his lateral bursts and his cuts. He's one of those rare backs, and a lot of these guys that have this trait end up in the Hall of Fame. He's one of those rare backs that can truly, because people say they can do it, and that I've seen some backs say they do it, but not really. He could truly cut without losing speed.
Right.
Just phenomenal tape. I heard so much about him and watching the tape, because I'm always hesitant to believe some of these things with some of these players, but this, because I'd heard the class was really bad, but he absolutely is the real deal. Mark mentioned he won the Doak Walker Award. He's the first Notre Dame running back to ever do that. He broke a former touchdown record with 21 total TDs for Notre Dame, single season record. Anybody know whose record he broke?
Oh, no.
Wait, say that again. It was a single season record for
21 total TDs. Set a new record for Notre Dame.
For Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Oh.
God,
it's not Bet. Is it Bears?
Yeah. Jerome Bettis.
Wow.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. I just, and the guy has, power's not his game, but he has power when he needs it. He has great leg drive. If you watched the Penn State game where he takes the ball on the 3-yard line and just it's just fantastic running to get into the end zone, just powering through 2 or 3 guys. I think his patience and his vision, his acceleration is elite. He is the perfect zone scheme running back. I really believe to be a really good zone scheme running back, you have to have that burst. I mean, Le'Veon Bell to me was the best zone scheme running back I've ever seen because he would pick, boom, gone. And that's what you have to have. And not all these guys have that acceleration. This guy has it. Has pretty good hands. Mark mentioned his spin move. It looks like a Madden spin move. It's fantastic.
It does, yeah.
To like Mark said, to find things wrong with this guy, you really got to nitpick. I mean, you really got to nitpick. But 4.36 speed and his lateral burst, his elusiveness, this guy's fantastic. Really, really high on him.
Hey, you described. You made me think when you said about players making cuts without losing speed. You know who you made me think of? Barry Sanders. That's quite a quite a pull.
Yeah.
If
OJ Simpson,
right.
Marcus Allen, that's a great trait, and that's really difficult to pull off, and not a whole ton of guys have that ability.
Yeah, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is a bit like that.
Yeah, he's got great burst. He's got one of the best bursts through the line of scrimmage I've ever seen. I remember watching his tape.
Hey, Reese in the chat.
I like this guy higher than Gentry, Mark.
Right.
I like him higher than Gentry. I had Trevion rated above Gentry. He was my Red Star last year.
You did,
and I think this guy's better than Trevion. And I'm sorry, Gav, I stepped over you. What did you say?
That's okay. I said Reese in the chat said, love the player. I'm just not on the top 10 RB pick train. So what do you think about that, Rich? Would you take this guy in the top 10?
Yeah. Absolutely, and I understand that because there's, I remember Cy was on this real early years ago on the pod that you find plenty of good backs, in the second, third, fourth rounds, but this guy is elite, and I don't always say that about running backs, but he is elite and he's worth it. I think.
I think that calculation changes, doesn't it, Rich? When because we were talking about specifically about Najee Harris, right, in that draft in 2022,
mm-hmm.
and I think the argument then was this is going to be a guy, as much as we might like him, who's going to come in and be a part of an offense. Whereas I think to be a running back like we're talking about, a Christian McCaffrey, a Saquon Barkley, potentially
a weapon.
You have to be a guy who's going to have the offense built around you, right? Like you're the weapon, you're the. Maybe you have a great quarterback, maybe you don't. You probably don't if you're getting drafted this highly. But you're going to be the most electric thing on your offense, right? You're going to be around.
Which makes it makes it interesting for me thinking about him going to Tennessee then, because this is a team that's got a second-year quarterback coming up in Cam Ward that you would have thought they would have put the pieces around him, but Love is obviously going to be one of those pieces. So it's going to be interesting to see how, if they do draft him, how they maneuver forward with these two pieces. That it's an interesting one to see how they approach it.
Yeah, so many of these guys, especially in this class, is so much about where your landing spot is, right? Like some of these backs are really good out of catching passes out of the backfield, and they really need to be used in a proper way. This guy, I look at him as like idiot proof. I don't think it matters where he goes. You have a half decent running scheme and he's gonna flourish. But not all the backs. He's probably the only one in this class, I would say. Maybe one other guy. But most of these guys, the landing spot is super important.
Right.
I mean, to be fair, you can say that to most players in the draft. The landing spot is very important. But when you have a team that has the need and is the best or one of the best in class, then it's a combination of the two. Yeah, because some teams draft, they just go, right, the best that's coming, I'm taking the best player in this spot. And some teams have a particular need, but when they combine, it's a no-brainer. You should go for that. And Tennessee needs both. I mean, they need him, and Cam Ward needs all the help he can get. And that's part of the problem, because he's going to go to, if he goes to Tennessee, he's going to end up at a team with no O-line.
Right. That's right. Reese has just said, can a top 5 team give a player of that quality the lanes and touches need to warrant his talent? Or is he?
And this is it. And he mentioned, yeah, exactly. And Saquon Barkley and McCaffrey didn't succeed in their first team, did they? They had to move on to a better team before they did much better or fulfill the potential more. So there's, look at Genty, Bijan Robinson. There's no guarantee. In fact, it's probably guaranteed the other way around, that the first year is not going to be that great. And with that transition into the NFL, injuries, I'll be honest with you, I left Jeremiah Love to be the last one because there was so much talk. Everywhere you looked at, every article, every podcast, people were talking about him so much. I didn't need to watch him. And in fact, I didn't. I did not watch a single minute, a single second of Jeremiah Love because I feel like I don't need to. I can probably tell you what everybody's saying about him because it's just been nonstop. My best call for him is you Rich would know. Some of you guys might be a bit too young for that. 1996 Olympics in Atlanta. The face of the athletics in this game was a guy called Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson, he ran 400 and 200 meters. He ran with golden shoes. He was so far ahead of the field. It was pretty much guaranteed he's going to get the gold for 400 and 200. The British runner, 400-meter British runner, Roger Black, said, the best I can get is a silver medal. I'm not even thinking about winning. I'm just going to, for me, victory will be to get second place. So he was Michael Johnson almost kind of put away on a pedestal, and everybody was just fighting for second place. And no surprise, Michael Johnson did win. That's kind of how I saw Jeremiah Love. He's so far removed that it's almost not interesting anymore. Everybody's waxing lyrical about him all the time. It's just not, it got to a point, it was kind of boring. What can I see in him that no one else saw? What can I add to the conversation? So I thought, right, let everybody say what they say. It's not going to change anything. For me, I'm putting him at value.
Because I was going to say at value, okay.
Well, because the value that he's been put on is fourth in the draft, top 3 players.
Right.
So if that is the value, what can I add to that? How can I change that?
Fair enough. What was your grade, Rich? Sorry.
Well, okay, so he's definitely going in the first round. So how do we do the grade when we know they're going in the first round? Because you can't get any higher than first round.
Right.
I know. I drive Cy crazy with these questions.
I mean, I guess would you move up if you were the Steelers? Would you move up to try and get him?
Well, no, because we know that we wouldn't. That's not the way to pitch it.
No. Okay, if you were a team that was running back needy, would you move up to get him, or would you just sit there and hope that he falls to you? I guess that's the distinction between.
I would move up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so
I guess that's +1.
Yes, +1. Or would you sell the farm to get him? That's +2.
Sell the farm. I don't know if I could. I would say I'll stick at +1.
Got it.
The thing is, if you're going to sell the farm for him, that means that it's almost like the last piece that you're missing.
Right? Yeah.
Bringing in a caliber player at running back means that they're not going to transform the team. You can't have run game only. It's not the Navy. Or Army. It needs to be a major piece. It needs to work together, with the throwing game. So you got to bring someone that all the other pieces are in place, and he's a complementary piece. He comes in, and everybody rises together.
Well, yeah, you're right. Like the Raiders, we saw what the Raiders did. They brought in G&T, didn't push them anywhere, didn't do anything for them, right? Because
they didn't have a no line, didn't have a. So there's another thing here that it's you can't ignore the free agency just finished. There's so many running backs moved teams. There's been a lot of movement. Top players have moved. I mean, the Super Bowl MVP moved. So I think a lot of teams now have a decent running back. Then he will be in a different place. I started looking at this before the combine and before free agency. So there were so many running backs available, and pretty much all of them, all the top guys, have gone.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of just an indication as to what the rest of this draft is. I don't think that's any kind of thing with Jeremiah Love there. I think that's just a pure indication of what else is there.
I'm just saying that you can see the trend. You can see what it shows you. That certain teams, possibly Tennessee didn't need to do that because they thought, right, this guy's, we're going to go for that guy. So they didn't need to do that.
I think he can contribute, be a big contributor on Tennessee, even if their line isn't the best. I mean, you mentioned Saquon. He still rushed for 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns in his rookie season, and he was pretty much the only thing they had going for him. These guys, running backs like this, they're gonna contribute. They're gonna do their job. Now, it may not be the best he can do. The first year in Philadelphia, he rushed for 2,000 yards because he was finally on a good team. But that doesn't mean just because he's on a bad team, he's going to suck. Mm-hmm. He's going to do what they draft him to do. I really believe that when we're talking about this guy.
No, I hope for him. Yeah, completely. I hope for him that wherever he goes, you don't want to see players, especially when we'd hype so much, not doing well. It's much more fun when you see players, and it's much more rewarding to see them fulfilling their potential.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know Lee Majors, right? Rich.
Yep. Not personally, but yes, I do.
No, of course, yeah. So it's almost like he's two big roles. Is it one he was the $60 million man, the other one he was the fall guy. So it's almost like I feel like sometimes there's maybe nothing in the middle. It's going to be one or the other. So it's kind of yeah.
I don't know. Is Janty the middle guy there? He's kind of boring. He's not failing, but he's not elite yet, is he?
How dare you?
No, but the fact that he came from Boise State, I think, kind of helped. And obviously, it's a different build. It's a different kind of back.
Yeah. Very different. Yeah.
But there was something romantic about him coming from Boise State, that going so high in the draft. That's, he won a lot of hearts that way.
Yeah. Before we move on,
if it just means that Jeremiah Love's going to prosper in Tennessee, and then Tyjae Spears can come over to the Steelers, then I'm all for it. Yeah, there we go. Boom.
How much of a crowded running back room do you want of mediocre backs in Pittsburgh?
How dare you?
Sorry, coming for all your guys. Before we move on from Jeremiah Love, I just wanted to say I think he's got the best body control of a running back I've seen for years. I don't know if that's what you were getting at, Rich, with the lateral agility, but just the ability to keep the forward motion with the spin and fighting through contact, not through power, but just through body control, using momentum and geometric ability with his body is incredible. And I think that's a key skill that I can't think who does that sort of spin and dodge thing as well as he does in college.
You know what he is?
Yeah.
Because you sent me that video of Le'Veon. Oh, sorry, I was going to say of the 2-yard touchdown that he scored, right? Because I was like, yeah, this guy's got insane body control and he's got the speed, but has he got any power to him or any ability to kind of get short yardage situations? You sent me that play where, as you say, it's not pure power that he's using, it's momentum, it's body control, but he strikes me as like he's Le'Veon Bell crossed with Zay Flowers.
Right.
He's got the open field and dodge kind of flag football ability that Zay Flowers has, but he's got like more pace and agility to him than Le'Veon Bell did. But he's got that kind of behind the line Le'Veon Bell-esseness to him as well.
Yeah.
So
he just flows like water around a rock, doesn't he? Just you can't.
Yeah. Smooth.
Yeah.
And
smooth.
none of us mentioned he has the longest touchdown run in college playoff history, 98 yards.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He doesn't play around. He takes it to the house.
Yeah, his penchant for 90-yard touchdowns is insane. Yeah, it's incredible.
And only one drop in the receiving game his whole career, right? I believe.
Yep,
Ah,
exactly. Yep,
don't know if I had that. Did I?
I think that's the
I
case.
think
Yeah.
it's definitely this season he had one drop, and I think that was his only drop. So pretty
Hmm.
good
God,
hands.
imagine a Tennessee running back running for 98 odd yards. Oh, can you
Yeah,
think?
and
Hopefully
lining
the
up,
right direction.
lining up at receiver, a wide receiver
Yeah.
in the slot, or yeah.
Right.
Whoa.
Well, we
well,
better move on because
who's-
Rand's getting bored about us talking about him.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Who's gonna
It's
gonna
nice to
take
hear.
us to
It's nice to hear this, that everybody agrees and everybody's contributing this to this how much they love this player. So no, it's great to hear.
who's going to take us on to exactly the same school then?
Right. Nobody.
Any takers?
You want to do that one too, Mark? If you want to, you could take him. I have another guy in mind I want to do first.
All right, okay. But I'll do Jadarian Price then. I've got no problem with doing that. Yeah. So literally, the next guy on the consensus from Notre Dame's Jeremiah Love is Notre Dame's Jadarian Price, the redshirt junior, 22 years of age, 5'11", 203 pounds. So a little bit tiny, well, about an inch shorter than Jeremiah Love, but a little bit lighter as well. Man, what a tandem this was, by the way, Love and Price. How did Notre Dame not do much better this year? I have no idea. But yeah, he was just, a big part of that electric tandem between the two of them. Obviously, he's going to be outshone by Jeremiah Love, but Price has certainly got his plus points as well. Great initial burst, really nice power in his run. I think he follows blockers just really well. He's got great vision for being able to follow them into holes. Really fights for the extra yardage. Think he gets outside in really nice time as well. I think there's a decent speed to him. The way he shakes off leg tackles, like people are getting out of his legs. It's like they're not even there. Like he's just absolutely shaking them off in brilliant ways. The production isn't going to be as high because obviously he's behind Jeremiah Love there. He does occasionally struggle to get the extra yardage when he's like completely, enshrouded. Yeah, sometimes you see these backs. I don't think he would score that 2-yard touchdown that Jeremiah Love did. Let's put it that way. I think he could probably get swamped out there, and I think that's something that kind of came up on tape. The speed's good. I would say it's not exceptional, and I don't think he exhibits the patience. Certainly not of Jeremiah Love, but I think there's some moments where the vision's great, but he could probably stand to be a tiny little bit more patient and be able to exploit holes a little bit better. He also had a ruptured Achilles in his freshman year. He hasn't had any injury concerns since, I don't believe, but that's certainly something to note. So while he's not as flashy and smooth as Jeremiah Love, he does bring his own sort of set of tantalizing tools that can make him a very menacing kind of RB2/1B. I think he makes an excellent companion in a committee back role. As I say, a little bit more patience, maybe a little bit more production in receiving game if he's able to get in there. But what he's bringing, powerful, sharp feet, really really nice vision at times. Really excellent starting point for any team to mold. He was a first team All-American in 2025 as well. I'm really high on him. Like both of them were just incredibly fun to watch. And it's great that, with such an amazing back that he's playing with in Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price was able to carve out his own role and his own specialness within this class. So I'm a +1 on Jadarian Price as well. I think he could, I'm not going to say first round, but I think he could be in contention. I mean, he's 48 on the consensus board right now. He could possibly sneak into kind of the start of the second round for a running back needy team around that area. I could see a world where that happens. First round might be a tiny little bit rich, but I do really really like Jadarian Price. So yeah, I'm a +1 on him.
Well, Mark, you can play that scenario out with the Titans, right? In our head, the Titans could, instead of taking Jeremiah Love with the fourth pick, they could take, I don't know, one of those top pass rushers, Arvel Reese or whatever it is, and take the pick in the second round, right?
Or-
Assuming, do they have that?
Or
Unless they've traded it.
how about this, Si?
You can
They
take
take they take them both. They take Jeremiah Love and Shadarian
Okay,
Price.
do you think that Jadarian Price would like to sit behind Jeremiah Love again? I don't think so.
I don't think so, but it might be hella fun. Like, wow, just bring
Not
the best.
for Jadarian Price, it wouldn't be.
Oh man,
If,
that'd be hilarious.
if it happens and all of a sudden Jeremiah Love has a mysterious accident, I would know why.
We've seen this before, haven't we? We saw two Georgia backs get drafted in the same draft, wasn't that? And it was Chubb was the second of the two. They were both taken really high, and the other one was I'm blanking on his name. He went to the Falcons. He had dreads.
Well, I mean, you looked at what about last year? Judkins and Henderson were pretty high, weren't they? I know one wasn't first round, but they were both pretty high.
Yeah, good callback. I'm trying to remember who that other one. Devontae. Anyway, carry on. I'll think of it.
This is Mike Cardale Jones.
Yeah. Ran, what are you saying?
Well, it's I was trying to. There's so much to listen to and to hear and to see, and I was trying to find a different kind of measurement or a different kind of. And one of the things I tried to look at was how many of these running backs actually run through the A or B gaps, and it turns out not so many and not all the time. But these Notre Dame guys, they definitely run through A, B, C, D, whatever gap there is. They could run through the middle or around. And Jadarian Price was definitely one of them. He, unfortunately for him, as we said, he was behind Jeremiah, but he still played 40 games. A little bit about behind him. I mean, he's a Texan. He wanted to play in Texas. So many universities in Texas, but no Texas university picked him up. And he chose Notre Dame without visiting. He did not visit university prior to choosing that university. Apparently, the head coach persuaded him, Brian Kelly at the time, persuaded him to come to Notre Dame. And he told him, one of the things that persuaded him, supposedly he said that this will be his last job. Brian Kelly said to him, this will be my last job. And it wasn't. It was just his penultimate, obviously, after what happened to him in LSU. The running back coach in Notre Dame at the time was, let's see if I can read his name properly, Declan McCulloch. He's a Pittsburgh native. He's now the Raiders running back coach. Previously, he was Kansas City Chiefs running back coach. In 2019, he won the Super Bowl with them. So both these running backs there's a reason why they've done so well beyond the capabilities, because they had amazing coaching. I mean, their coach was, Super Bowl winner. The offensive coordinator was Tommy Rees. He's now the new Falcons offensive coordinator, Kevin Stefanski. So they were taught very well, both of them. So they, it's a good preparation. It's an amazing preparation. Couple of things that I wrote down. Is he just kind of a great athlete, or is he a playmaker? I think it's a bit of both. I think that's kind of the limited tape. He's a willing runner. I think he'll do well at the NFL. I think he'll do well.
How much did he? So, what was the rotation like between these two guys then? If you've obviously got two high-end running backs both coming out the same year.
Well, from what I've seen, Jadarian Price tended to do more the early downs. It'll be the first down, and then Jeremiah will take the hero downs.
It was about 2-1.
Yeah, in favor of Love.
Yep.
I just was noticing that his pass blocking grade for 2025 is pretty poor, 26. Something you saw on tape? Pass blocking was bad? No?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be ideal, no.
I wrote that down. It looked like he needed a little work on that.
What do you think, Rich, overall?
I like him overall. I'm even on him. I'm not a +1 like Mark is, but I'm even on him. I really like, he doesn't have a lot of tread on the tires. He only has 280 carries for his career. You compare that to somebody like Ashton Gentry, who had 750 carries for his career. So I really like that a lot. And you know what else I like about him? He could be a good kickoff returner for someone. He has 3 career kickoff returns for TDs. His speed is decent. 4.5 is not bad. Let's see, he rushed for 670 yards, 6.0. He had 6 receptions for 87 yards last year. Played against some decent teams. He played 2 teams that were in the top 20 for run defenses, Miami and Pitt. So I mean, the guy he looks really good. It's just, you're going to naturally compare him to Love, and that's just not going to look good for him. But I think he has some nice qualities about him. He's a fluid runner too, and he's really good at navigating in tight spaces. He anticipates the cutback lane really well. I could tell he looks for it, and he has sharp cuts. Not real powerful through the line of scrimmage. But once he gets into the open space, it's into the second level, he's tough to bring down. It's interesting because he looks a little. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying you're right. I'm agreeing with you. Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, thanks. It's interesting because some players, their game speed is faster than their 40 speed, and some players it looks like their game speed is slower than their 40 speed. He's one of those guys that looks to me, when he hits that second level, he looks faster than 4.5 to me. I think his game speed's a little faster than his true 40 speed. But I like him. I think his vision in the open field is better than hitting the first level. Sometimes I think he misses things running to the line of scrimmage, and pass protection we mentioned. I like the guy. I'm even on him.
So do you think that the lack of snaps? I mean, he had 637 snaps compared to Love had more than 1,000. So do you think the fact that he didn't work as hard, is that a good thing? That means he'll be healthier coming into the NFL and still manage to prove himself, rather than it's not enough snaps, he's probably not as good.
I think that's a fine line, right? Because it's the two things that you said. You don't have as much wear on the tires, but you don't have that experience either. So I don't know what you place more emphasis on. It's certainly nice to get that game experience, and when you're featured like Love is, you're going to go higher in the draft naturally. But I don't think the lack of playing time is going to hurt him too much, because I think he did enough, and the tape will show you that the guy has talent and ability. So I don't think it's going to hurt him too much. And in the long run, it may end up helping him, because, he's not as beat up as a lot of guys that are bell cow backs in college.
What was your draft? What was your grade, Rand? Sorry.
I had him a +1.
Okay. It's interesting to me that he's the second guy on the consensus board. I was thinking back to it was Sony Michel I was talking about, and he was
I was going to say
taken before Chubb, right? There's no chance
first round.
Yeah, there's no chance that Price becomes a better back than Love, is there? Or is there? In the way that
I
Chubb
don't think so.
No.
I would be.
That was a stylistic thing, right? Chubb.
I mean,
Chubb
short term, it might happen, because Price might end up in a team where he will get better opportunities. He won't be working as hard, with a better O-line, with a better scheme for running backs, where Love will work. It'll be much bigger danger of getting injured. So it could be, to start with. Long run, it might be different, but to start with, I think it is possible.
I think I've seen Price drafted in mock drafts to like the Texans in that early second. They've got the Commanders pick in the early part of the second round. That's one I've seen popular. But yeah, he kind of wants to avoid. Yeah, it could be if that's probably his avenue to sneaking into a first round, is that very last pick of the first round. But Yeah, he's just got to avoid that kind of minefield of some of the poorer teams that unfortunately Jeremiah Love might get sucked into. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting where he lands.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of alluded to it, but damning indictment of this running back class that there's a top guy and then his backup essentially is the second guy. I mean, we have had it recently. We had John Robinson and Roquan Johnson, right? But they weren't.
Roquan.
Thank you. But they weren't anywhere near as close as this. So it is.
No, they weren't.
It is the Michelle and Chubb situation is the closest.
Well,
and
some people thought Roquan Johnson was the better running back.
yeah, you did, right?
Yeah.
Didn't turn out that way.
Shout out to the haters. They were right.
Mismanaged by a poor Bears team.
Okay, fine. We'll see. Just before we move on, I just wanted to highlight one of the comps, 88.3% comp on Mock Draftable. I like to highlight it when it's a former Steeler. Felix Jones for Price, which he had a little moment in the sun, I think, with the Cowboys, didn't he? But then he joined the Steelers and didn't do that much, I seem to remember. But there you go. Little Steelers corner for you.
I don't even remember who this is, to be honest. Who's this?
Felix Jones. Yeah, he was drafted by the Cowboys, and then he joined the Steelers like 20. It was during the lean spell before Bell and after Mendenhall when they were searching for a back constantly.
Get into my hazy phase before Bell.
The hazy phase, the Simon Hazy phase. Well, Felix Jones was on the team for a little while. Didn't do much, but yeah, it's weird that he's the comp there. There you go. Strange. Anyway, not that interesting. Let's move on.
Okay. Rich, do you want to take us to the next person?
Sure. Okay, my next guy is Mike Washington. He is a 6'1", 23-pound back out of Arkansas. His combine speed on the 40 was 4.33. And for 223 pounds, that time is no joke. He rushed 167 times for 1,070 yards, 8 touchdowns with a 6.4 yards per carry, 28 receptions, 226 yards, and a touchdown. So he could catch some passes. I just love the size speed combination. Are you guys familiar with the metric they have at the combine called the speed score metric?
That's not one I'm familiar with, actually.
Tell us about it.
Okay. What it is, it combines an athlete's 40 time and weight to evaluate their speed relative to their size. He scored a 127, which is the highest of all time, beating out over 2,100 running backs. So the guy has some really cool metrics here. He's just really intriguing to me.
What was the score? Sorry,
I'm sorry.
What was his speed score?
127.
Yeah, so I got Saquon was 124 here. He's one of the highest ones previously.
Yeah, Saquon was pretty high. Breece Hall was pretty high, I think. But he's a one cut back with elite acceleration. He has good vision. Like I said before, he could catch the ball out of the backfield. I just think this guy, I couldn't understand when I was scouting these backs. I first started, I saw the people had him ranked 7th, 5th. I was like, what? I couldn't believe it when I started watching tape. I was thinking, what tape are these guys watching? But I think he's shot up the board since then. But just think the guy's great. He played against 3 teams that were top 20 in college football run defense: Notre Dame, Texas, and Auburn. Played well against all of them. Auburn not as good as Notre Dame and Texas, but great games against Notre Dame and Texas. 6.3 yards per carry and 6.2. My issues with him, one of the big one for me is ball security. He has 10 fumbles in his college career. And that's a little too much for my liking. But that is something that an NFL team can definitely alleviate. They can work on him with that, and I think they can take care of that. He has a tendency to run high at times. He's a taller back, so they do have a tendency. If you guys remember Eric Dickerson Eric Dickerson ran straight up like a sprinter. He's like, it's like insane. He should have not been successful with that running style, but he was so fast, had such a burst, and he was pretty strong that it took him to the Hall of Fame. But and he's not super elusive. His hips are kind of tight, but with his speed and acceleration, he doesn't necessarily have to be. I would love if he was a little more elusive. And he's one of those guys because of his height. You look at him running, you're like, that guy's doesn't run a 4.33, but he does. I mean, if you watch the combine, he ran it. But so yeah, he's got a couple of things he needs that I think a NFL team needs to work out with him. But really, really like the guy, and he's my red star.
Red star.
You might want to reload that gun, Gav, because he is also Tom's red star.
Red star.
And he is also Mike's red star.
Red star.
A lot of red stars for Mr. Mike Washington coming out here. I'll just I'll quickly read what Tom said about Mr. Mike Washington. First running back he watched after the season finished, and he loved him. Big running back who used to be a wide receiver. The one-cut guy with awesome straight line speed and nice hands in the passing game. We'll probably go midday too. We'll need to clear up the fumbles to make it big in the NFL. So yeah, the fumbling issue was certainly there with him as well. And I know him and Mike have certainly waxed lyrical about how much they absolutely love Mike Washington. I like him. I don't know if I love him. The combine testing was superb. The Senior Bowl was great for him. I do think he has an excellent eye for space. I think he is, a pretty decent blocker, actually. Great burst out of his stance. Just as you say, he is very upright, as you say, Rich, there. But he can turn on the acceleration downfield really nicely. I thought his line was awful. I thought the Arkansas offensive line was terrible, so I think he dealt with that really well. As you say, the fumbling issues are the biggest thing. The reason I had a chuckle there is because I just remembered that Mike Washington, and this is definitely going to go against Rich's anti-PFF thing here. Mike Washington was not even the highest graded rusher on his team. And that is because of our own sleeper Rich, Taylor Green, who has absolutely shot up the board of the running grade. I think Taylor Green had the second highest rushing grade of any player, including running back. So it's a difficult bar to get over. I thought his play strength was okay, but nothing particularly special. I didn't really think it was all otherworldly. He didn't have as quick a change of direction as I thought I'd see. I thought his footwork was lacking a little bit in that respect. I just didn't see the kind of quickness in his turns and whatnot. I just that kind of left me feeling a little bit cold with him. And I think he's got tremendous athletic prowess. I think his vision is fantastic. I think he will be a tantalizing prospect for some teams in that respect. I just think there was a few things that I was hoping for a bit better. The fumbling issues are a concern for me. I wanted to see a tiny little bit more strength from a guy who's 223 pounds. I was hoping to see a bit more play strength out of that. I'm at value because I do see a day 2 pick for him, and I think he is he's 65, so he's roughly around that sort of area. I still think at value is probably about right for him there. I'm not as high as you guys are. I can see the appeal for Mike Washington, but for me personally, I'm just he's good, but I just wanted to see a little bit more from a guy of that kind of build in terms of how he played. But maybe I might be the outlier on that. But
no, you're not.
Oh no, there you go.
No, you're not. I think that I looked at it before the combine. I think the combine skewed some views. He started out. He was a 2-star recruit, and he played for Buffalo for 2 years. Then 2024 he moved to University of New Mexico. We shared snaps with another guy we'll probably talk about a bit later, Seth McGowan, in the Mountain West
Did
Conference.
everyone in this draft, by the way, just go through New Mexico State? I'm starting to think that everyone's just gone through New Mexico State.
I know, and do you know where they play? They play in Albuquerque, and I can't hear that name without thinking about the song "The King of Rock and Roll." It just I hear that name, that song comes to my head.
I drove through Albuquerque and played that song. There you go.
There we go.
I just think of Bugs Bunny, but that's where my head is. So
so I mean, so he only played for Arkansas for 1 year. So he landed 2025. He played there, and it was a bad year for Arkansas. They won 2 games. They lost 10 games in the year. It was a whole mess in there. In September, it's only 5 games in. The head coach was fired. And then the whole issue with the interim head coach, it was a whole mess. And so it's not just him that was affected. The rest, the whole team was affected. And the fact that he did relatively well, I guess it shows well on him, and perhaps in a more stable environment. But the fact that he played in 3 different schools was a little bit, for me, saying, okay, there's something here. So I tried to look at his runs to see, okay, is he using what A, B, C gaps? And I didn't see that. Yes, occasionally it did work, but most of the time he was just running around the box. And because of his speed, that's what got him away. And I'm not sure if in the next level that would happen.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I didn't see him. I know what you're saying, because backs in college that are really, really fast. They have a tendency to do that. Reggie Bush did it all the time. And then he got to the NFL and then he had a problem. I didn't see that from him. I saw him take a lot of things right up the gut, A-B gap, and break it. So I don't know. Maybe we didn't watch exactly the same tape. I can't say I'm the best evaluator before, and I didn't see everything, but from what I noted down was, he was running a lot around the box. But I have him at value. I have him wherever he comes. If he lands, that's fine. I wouldn't go in looking for him.
I can give you some stats here. He split it pretty evenly, actually. He ran off left end 24 times. He ran off right end 30 times, and he ran up the gut about 39 times. So he was either going round the corner or straight out the middle off the sort of A gap. So you're both right. There you go.
Fair enough. All right.
Sorry. So let me catch up with some grades here. Sorry, I got distracted with some other stats.
Add value for me.
At value for you, Ran. Mark, you were
at value for me as well.
And Rich.
I'm sorry, is he projected to go in the 3rd round?
Yeah, just like very start of the 3rd round.
Very start of 3rd?
Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't matter, like if I say +1, it doesn't mean the start of the 2nd round, just means somewhere in the 2nd round. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm +1.
All right. And he was your red star, right, as well?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the testing, he's a physical freak, right? I mean, you don't often see a spider graph like this. He's the whole damn thing. It's huge.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've got to think someone's going to take a chance on him.
100%. Yeah. I have no doubt that somebody's going to take a chance on him. Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to bet on that, and you just hope that he's not developed. He's just a physical freak.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. Just looking at him, like, it almost strikes me like, could he be like one of those Derrick Henry types where you remember when he first came in the league, like he was fine, and then he got in like in like an NFL weight room and all these guys around him, and like the next season he was like the most insane dude you've ever seen. Yeah, like size and speed.
He could follow that mold. Yeah.
You could see that, but because he doesn't strike me like, even though he's got the build for it, he doesn't strike me like as necessarily. What was his bench press? Did he do it?
No. He didn't.
Interesting. Although no one does the bench press anymore, do they? Right. I don't know.
Punters do, don't
knows?
they? But yeah. Apart from that.
But he strikes me as one of those guys, right? He could put on a lot of strength potentially, and maybe he becomes like a real, because with that speed combo and like you say, the one cut, like could be a taste. I see what Rich is seeing in this. Just watch the guys as you guys.
The explosive metric as well. The vertical jump, 91st percentile. The broad jump, 93rd percentile. You love that from your running back. It's just exploding all about the place.
It's why I like running backs. You can really feel and see the different styles, right? Like as you're saying about him having his hip stiffs. Hip. Oh my god, I couldn't say that.
Hip stiffs.
Hip stiffs. Hip stiff. Oh my god, stiff. Hips.
Oh my god.
Holy.
Stiff hips.
It's toying costs all over again.
Yeah, the anti-snake hips.
Stiff hips. I've forgotten my point. The point is, let's move on to the next guy.
Right. Ran, I think you're up.
Oh my. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Well, here's one I
Got
prepared. Right. I don't know if I might need to read this. I wrote a lot about this guy because there was a lot to read. Seth McGowan out of Kentucky.
Whoa, you're going deep. Okay.
Is it too deep?
No,
I
go ahead.
can come
go
up.
go where you want.
Please do talk about this guy because this is interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, if you look at his stats, it's a bit strange. So he's going to be 25 years old, out of Kentucky, and you're thinking, okay, that's immediately raises some eyebrows. He had 36 college games. Now, he has a bit of a history. In May 2021, he was charged with robbery, conspiracy to commit robbery, assault, and battery with a dangerous weapon after him and two other members of the Oklahoma University. So he was drafted. So he went to Oklahoma University to start with his first year, a few months in, 3 months in. So these three guys allegedly, well, not allegedly, they actually did it. They robbed a man that refused to sell them drugs in April 2021. So he refused to sell them drugs. Then they went to his flat and they robbed him. One of the guys had a gun. He didn't have the gun.
But what? So what? He didn't like their credit. I mean, why do you refuse to sell people drugs if you're a drug dealer? I don't understand this story at all.
Maybe he was looking after them. Maybe he thought, no, you guys, you're playing for OUs. You know, I want you to do well. I don't want to sell you drugs and ruin your career. So no, we want to ruin our career ourselves. We don't need your help to ruin our careers. What we're going to do is come to your flat and we're going to rob you. They pleaded guilty. And they were facing serious jail time, but they made a deal. They were convicted of larceny instead of, so it's only a felony. It wasn't. So Seth McGowan only spent 3 months in jail. Yeah.
Sorry.
And he had a year's probation, but 3 months in jail. But then, by the time the trial came around, it was already Lincoln Riley, the head coach of Oklahoma, already told him that he's off the team. So this is something that is going to be talked about every time his name is going to come up. He will not be able to do anything about it. And I think partly that's one of the things that spurred him on, because he has changed himself. He went through a whole transformation, and a lot of things happened in his life. Unfortunately, he lost his brother to suicide. So the guy's been fighting his whole life. So he potentially, that could be either going to make him or break him.
Sounds like he's been fighting drug dealers to try and pick up smack, Ran.
No, there wasn't any fight there. They had a gun. There wasn't any fight. It was pretty one-sided. Yeah, well, look, as for football, if you just look at the football side of things, so he was a four-star recruit. He came out of Portillo High School in Texas. He was recruited to the Sooners in 2020. The running back coach at the time was Jay Bullaware. He had a decent freshman year. He rushed 58 times for 370 yards, 3 TDs, 13 receptions for 201 yards, and 1 TD. before he went to jail. After jail, he was drifting. No one would pick him up. He ended up in a local college in Texas, NAIA. He was held. He wasn't allowed to play. They wouldn't allow him to play. He had to work out to prove himself. In 2023, he went to Butler Community College in Kansas. He thought he lost his chance. He pretty much gave up, and he was going through his phone. He was trying to speak to people, to reach out to people that tried to recruit him in the past. And he got in touch with the running back coach at New Mexico State. So he had to go through lots of hoops and hurdles, and to be eligible again to play for Division I football. That running back coach helped him and managed to get him to Mexico State, where he obviously shared snaps with Mike Washington Jr. And things started to work for him. He was out of the limelight. He had a bit of a quiet. He started actually working with youth and trying to share his experience to try and better himself and better people around him. And things started to really change for him. His performance increased, and it looked like he might get his opportunity back. His connection was, so he was going to go into transfer, but he decided he couldn't, because all the guys in New Mexico State really helped him to come back on the right path. So he decided not to. The following year, he thought, right, this might be my last chance. So he had to. So he transferred to Kentucky, and then, he got to where he is now. Last year's college, he had 165 carries, 725 yards. He had team best 12 rushing TDs. Great in early downs. He was red zone king. So he was the guy that went to him in the red zone. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. I wrote down, he was running as if he's lost his bung. He was a twitchy downhill runner, good feet, changing direction. He was running as if the old Bill was after him. Unfortunately, stats are a bit limited, obviously, because he had 1 year only in top tier football. And Kentucky had a really tough schedule as well. They lost to Ole Miss, to Texas, to Georgia, to Vanderbilt, to Tennessee, to Louisville. So it was a tough year. But he just seemed to be like a new man. He didn't forget his past. He's using his motivation, and it looks like he's earned his second chance. I think he's had value. I think he's where is he? Is he he's 219. So, it's sixth round. I think he'll be lucky. I'm hoping for him that a team will pick him in the later rounds, because he deserves. He worked really hard, but no one will ever be able to. It might be his first question he's asked in an interview. What happened and how you moved on for that? What do you learn for that? He won't be able to shake that.
It's going to be a tough question, I imagine, right? Because he sits down and then the team says, "What happened?" and he has to answer, "I robbed a drug dealer. I got done for armed robbery of a drug dealer."
Yes,
but he is incredibly open about this. There is a brilliant TV interview he did just about it. So short interview, but I watched it on YouTube because it is such a really interesting story. His and he absolutely owns up to it, and he's put his faith in God now, and he's looking to move on, and particularly into the NFL draft. I don't know. Apologies, Rat. I didn't know if you were finished there, because I wanted to jump in.
No, that's fine.
I'm very excited about this guy because this history is quite something. And you mentioned his brother committed suicide. I believe that was while he was in jail as well. So a really, really tumultuous point in his life, and he's worked all that way to get back into football to be where he was at with Kentucky. What a fantastic restoration project. He's just been he shows some really good stuff. So really patient, very nice footwork. I put it down as excellent on here. A proper red zone threat who smashes through first contact, will fight for every yard for you. He's 223 pounds. He's definitely going to fight and really, really push for all the yardage you can get. His combine testing, he had 100th percentile vert. I think it was 45 and a half or something like that. Absolutely the best, the best that you can get as a 100th percentile vert. Yes, he's an older prospect, so he's going to be a day 3 guy. Definitely the concerning off-field history. It looks like he's put that behind him, so you would hope that is now behind him. But you always have to have that in the back of your head when you've got something particularly like this. Not particularly explosive. His longest run in 2025 was 20 yards. So he's not an explosive athlete really. Kind of a lack of receiving upside as well. Nothing major there. 5 fumbles the last 2 seasons. You're kind of like, okay, borderline, not great. But yeah, man, I mean, I loved watching the play anyway. I thought, he's a fighter, real edge, particularly in the red zone. He's a proper red zone threat. I absolutely love that. Has the intelligence to find gaps to run through as well. I really hope he has turned a corner because I like him a lot. I think he's superb. He's not quite my sleeper, but he was in that conversation because there's just so much.
Yeah, I need to sleep with it myself, but didn't decide not to.
Yeah, very close to. But I'm a +1 personally. I think he's absolutely worthy of maybe like a 5th round, like almost sort of towards the more of the kind of start to middle of day 3. I think he's just that good of a player. And there's definitely some concerns around him. And, he's going to be 25 in October. So, you got to take that into consideration. But I was a big Seth McGowan fan.
Yeah, it's last year of eligibility. And one thing I forgot to say, so the same guy that recruited him to Oklahoma, Jay Bulware, the running back coach, he ended up in Kentucky, and he's the guy that brought him to Kentucky. So he's the guy
he put it all on the line for him as well. He's saying that, this is fully on him. So yeah.
So so he was trying to pay back. He's got a lot to prove, and I think this is probably going to be an amazing motivation. Couple of anecdotes about him. So he was asked, what would most people not know about him? And he said he can play the clarinet, which immediately made me think he always liked to have a bit of a hot air through a cylindrical vessel. His major in his major in Kentucky was liberal studies. I don't know what the hell that means. I reckon his car had a specially modified steering wheel so he could, drive with the handcuffs on. And his favorite family recipe, it was actually said it was Texas hash.
You got all the hits here, Ram. All the hits.
Yeah. I did say that. I think it was at some point he was going to open a pub with his brother from another mother, Shane. But I don't know how he's going to like that. By the way, Texas hash is rice, meat, cheese, and kind of baked thing. It's not weird. Just saying.
It's not drugs.
No.
Can I just
ask? I have him with value.
Okay, have value. Right, great. Thanks. Before Rich has a go, can I just ask, Mark, based on if he wasn't 25 and didn't have a criminal record, where do you think his tape would be worthy of drafting? Based on your previous
man, if he wasn't 25 and didn't have those concerns, I really loved it. That would be 2nd, 3rd round tape for me right there. Particularly the Kentucky stuff. The New Mexico State, I dipped into a little bit of New Mexico State stuff, but particularly in Kentucky,
So do you think that
it wouldn't have missed 2 years? It wouldn't have missed 2 years. That's the thing. He missed
exactly.
2 or 3 years.
Well, he'd probably
and-
still be in Oklahoma, wouldn't he? And he'd probably.
So that's what I'm saying. So Rand was right to bring him up here because that's about his value. So Rand's brought him up at his tape grade rather than his draft grade.
And Connor Rogers of Stock Exchange had Seth McGowan in his top 5 running backs in this class as well. He's incredibly high on Seth McGowan. So I think there's plenty of people out there who are as well. And you can see it certainly when you watch the tape and you don't think about the other stuff. You certainly see that.
Right, Rich, what do you think?
I liked him. I thought he ran really, really hard. He when I'm watching him, I thought, man, this guy runs like he's angry, and he has a great nose for the goal line. And he'll occasionally show you some quick cuts. You know, for the most part, he's just a straight ahead, hard nosed running back. But he'll occasionally do some quick cuts in the second level. And he could catch the ball. He had 19 receptions, so he could catch the ball. He ran a 4.49, which is not bad. That's decent speed. He is 223 pounds and 6'125", so he's a big back. Ran against some good competition. 3 teams, rushing defense. There were 3 of them in the top 20 in college football. The conviction does concern. Was 2021, so he's 5 years. He's been clean, I guess you would say. I mean, he doesn't have great acceleration, not really elusive, not a ton of creativity at the second level, really not a lot of lateral quickness, but he is what he is. And what he does is he does really well. He runs really hard, and he's a big guy. He's not afraid of contact, and there's going to be, I think, a place for him somewhere on a team. So I would put him at value.
Okay, that's cool. So you were down on Pavia because of his issues.
Yeah,
but you're giving McGowan a discount.
Seth McGowan's not going to be the leader of my team.
Right.
My quarterback is the leader of my team. I hold him at a higher level than I do the rest of the team, and that's it's just the way it is.
Fair enough. That's a great point. Okay. Cool. Let's move on from McGowan. I'm aware that we're at 2 hours and we're only a few guys in, so we need to pick up the pace here. But who wants to go next?
Okay.
Is it Rich next? I think it's Rich next, isn't it?
Is it my turn? Or Mark?
Was it? Oh, I think it was me.
Oh, sorry, Mark. Okay, go on. You go.
No, that's good. Well, I'm going to take us back, but I'm not going to take us all the way back in consensus. I'm going to take us over to Nebraska. And I'm going to talk about the redshirt junior, Emmett Johnson, 22 years of age, 5'10", 202 pounds. First of all, by the way, thank you. First of all, Emmett Johnson is the most running back name in history. Is that if you're called Emmett Johnson, I'm just going to ask you who you play running back for, because that is just the best of all worlds there. That is just an all-worldly running back name. Emmett Johnson did not test particularly great at the combine. He had a low relative athletic score. It was not a great combine for him. Do you know who else didn't have a good combine? Bucky Irving. And I loved Bucky Irving, and I love Emmett Johnson. He is my red star in this running back group. Oh, I threw you off there by doing an early one there. I knew I would. But man, I loved Emmett Johnson so much. There was some great productivity anyway. Most rushing yards and missed tackle forced in the draft class in 2025. 66 missed tackles forced, which is the highest of anybody in this class. Yes, that's a little bit paltry compared to Ashton Genty's 150 odd last year, but still pretty incredible stuff that he's top there. Man, you can see it. Beautiful juke and jiver. Loved what he did with his footwork. Excellent patience to glide into the gaps. Really gets super skinny in those gaps without losing any sort of momentum. Can get to the outside with great pace as well. Just absolutely loved a ton of that. Amazing receiving ability as well. One of the top receiving backs in this entire draft. Again, the metrics for those really stack up. Top of a lot of those kind of metrics as well in this class. He is a mostly ineffective kind of shoulder blocker. He definitely needs to refine some of the blocking techniques in his pass protection. When he's in a phone booth against kind of guys, yes, the missed tackle rate is great, but when he's locked up there, he's not going to win those battles at 5'10", 202. Certainly not. But man, I was nitpicking when it came to this guy. Outstanding production, excellent receiving ability, great patience, bursty, sweet feet. Maybe a little extra power wouldn't hurt him in the world because he's not already the fastest guy. He did have a better pro day than he did combine, so that was really encouraging to see. First team All American in 2025, Big Ten running back of the year in 2025, first team All Big Ten, and also in 2021 he was Minnesota Mr. Football. Can any of you say that? No, you can't.
Minnesota Mr. Football.
I said that this guy would be the perfect Kenny Gainwell replacement if needed. I absolutely love this guy. He's a stud. He's a +1 for me. Again, I've not +2'd anybody just because I think the kind of lack of strength is somewhat of a concern in that respect. But man, I would hammer the table for Emmett Johnson. He is what, 101 at the moment, 110? My God, yeah. No, I would be 100% getting this guy in day 2. Those 3 third-round picks that the Steelers have got there, I don't necessarily think we're going to keep all of them. But even if we just had one, man, I would be absolutely on board with taking Emmett Johnson with it. Kick that other Johnson out. Let's get this Johnson in. Let's have a bit of Emmett. What a dude. Loved him. Go on then. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go?
Mark Dr. Johnson.
Dear Lord.
Oh.
Well, he did. He's the first ever player to have 100 yards of rushing and 100 yards of receiving in one game for Nebraska. That's one record he holds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I can't find much fault, and I agree with most of the things you said, but it just feels to me like there's so many other similar to him. I can't, for me, it's like most other running backs in this class, is at value. Is all that you said, but it's not. I can't see him offering more than his value is. Late 3rd, early 4th round.
I hate when that happens, Mark, when you give like a big impassioned rant about this player that you love, and then the response is, yeah, but
yeah, we said it before that most of the running backs in this class are kind of meh.
I think Emmett Johnson's one of the exceptions here. I think he would probably, kind of looking at it, do I kind of have him? I would probably say he's my running back 3 in this whole class. I think I probably still would have Jadarian Price over him, but I think he would definitely be my RB3 in this whole thing, and I think that's going to reflect in my big board when I do it. So
2 things I've just noticed on the stats before Rich has his go is the pass blocking was pretty poor, the grading.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, no, it does need improvement. He needs to be the one getting in the weight room, really, right. And
he's not got enough mustard. And the yards after contact, which is again the same thing, I guess, 2.95 yards after contact, slightly
exactly.
below.
But 68 missed tackles forced. The highest amongst the group in here. I know it's not, as I say, comparatively to last year, but it's more than Jeremiah Love. It's 12 more than Jeremiah Love had. I just think he's so shifty in that respect. It's fantastic.
Fair enough. Are you watching Rich? What do you think?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No. I was going to say,
yeah. My favorite thing about this guy is his pass catching ability. He has really good ball security. He's only had 1 drop pass since 2024. He fumbled 1 time at over 300 touches. So really elite ball security. He shows some creativity in the open field. He has some nice cuts. He's real shifty. Not elite speed. I thought he would run. He's one of those guys where I thought, watching his tape, I thought he was faster than what his 40 times showed. I think he ran a 4.57.
I think it went up to a 4.48 at his pro day, which is
significantly better. Yeah, that makes more sense because I thought he played faster than what that speed was, but he seems more quicker than fast to me. My issue with him that jumped out at me is he does have those quick cuts, and sometimes it's like when he's searching for the hole, I call it pity pat his feet in the backfield at times. Like I don't know if it's just a groove thing that he just like, he's in the groove of he's going to be cutting as he's going through I don't know what it is, but he does it sometimes, and it's unnecessary to me. It's like the hole's there, hit it, right? So I think that's something that can be worked out though at the next level. You mentioned the pass protection.
Are you saying he's indecisive or he just is?
I don't know if it's indecisive or if it's just like a tick, because he does have really quick cuts. And sometimes there's the hole is there. It's not like he's waiting. He's patient. He's waiting for that zone, to develop, that zone blocking to develop. It's just like the hole's there and he'll cut and then he'll go. Like the hole's right to the right of him, but he'll cut to the right and then he'll go instead of just going, right? So he just, I don't know, it just might be a thing with him, but I think it's going to be more glaring at the next level because everybody's so much faster. So if he doesn't fix that, it's going to, could be an issue for him at the next level. And he doesn't do it all the times, but I noticed he did it enough that I noticed it. I don't think his vision is good. I heard all these people raving about his vision. PFF just thought he had the best vision of any back in the class. I disagree. It's not horrible, but it's not great. I watched his Michigan tape because I like to try to find the tape where, if you just watch highlights, then you just see all the great things that these guys do. But if you can find tape on them, some all 22, then you see everything, and you get a much better idea of what they're all about. And 3 times against Michigan, his team, his offensive line opened up a huge gaping hole, and he missed all 3 of them. He busted it to the outside. And in fact, I took pictures of one. I'll send it to you guys in the chat so you guys can see what I mean. But I think that's something, that could, definitely hurt him at the next level, because it reminded me of Najee. Remember how Najee had these, our line wasn't awesome, but every now and then they opened up like a great hole and Najee just never saw it. So I just have questions about his vision. But I think with the pass receiving ability, I think that's enough for sure that he will have a spot on a team. I could see him as a third down back and doing really well, actually. So I have him at value.
Okay, cool. My only issue with him is because I was looking, the receiving things, but the pass blocking grades are so bad. I mean, can you have a receiving back that's terrible at pass blocking?
Yeah, if you if you just set the plays up so that he's not pass blocking very often.
Right, I guess you
could, but they could. A lot of times, if these guys are willing, an NFL team will work with them and they'll improve that. But I don't know. We'll see.
Right, Rand.
Rare to find a running back once you get to the 3rd and 4th round that's a great pass blocker, right?
True, yeah, sure. But yeah, it's just when they're receiving more of a receiving back, you kind of hope they got something. Rand, what was your grade? Sorry, have you spoken about this?
Value.
Value. Okay.
You can assume I'm at value if I understand otherwise.
Okay.
So I sent you guys pictures on the show thread. I hope that's okay, Gav.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
The show thread.
You're making me out like I'm some ogre. Like, geez.
I'll play it as a joke. I don't joke too often, but that was a joke.
We live in fear of Gav.
And by the way, when you guys say something funny, I am over here laughing. You will never hear me because I'm on mute. But just so you know, I don't want anybody to think I'm not laughing at their jokes, because there's been some really funny things said, and I am on mute, unfortunately. But I am laughing.
Can you please name the top 5 funny things I've said in the last hour?
Definitely do not do that.
The tight end thing was the best, man. That was brilliant. You remember that one?
I do. I remember it well. I'll forgive you. You slipped out of that one well.
Yeah. Slip out with a little bit of charm, Rich. That's a classic move. All right, where are we going to next? Who is it?
It's Rich.
All right.
Oh, my turn. Okay, hold on. Sorry, got to get situated here. Where do I want to go?
Shuffle the papers.
Quite a visceral.
I love a good paper rustle.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry about that. All right, so I'm going to go with a running back out of Clemson named Adam Randall. You guys may not even have heard of him. He is a converted wide receiver. He's 6'3" and 3/8. He's 232 pounds. And again, I like this size, this speed size ratio. He runs a 4.5 40. So it's not a 4.33, but 232 pounds running a 4.5 is not bad at all. And he's a powerful downhill runner. He's got a little bit of wiggle, but like I said, he played one season at running back. He played wide receiver for his first 3 years, and then they converted him to running back because they just weren't using him a ton as receiver. So, but the good thing is, I mean, he's a natural receiver out of the backfield, and he caught 36 passes for 254 yards and 3 touchdowns. He showed pretty good vision on his tape. I was surprised because for being a first time back, I kind of expected him to have a lot of issues with that, but he actually did not look too bad with his vision. I mean, he's raw, but there's a lot there to work with. Um, uh, for me, ball security again is a little bit of a concern. He fumbled 4 times last season, so they gotta clean that up. I mean, running backs, right, in general, have much better ball security than receivers. So it might be one of those things, you know. So he's got to get used to the position and definitely has to clean that up. Pass protection, not great. Definitely needs to improve at that. Like I said, he's got a little bit of wiggle, but he doesn't have great agility or lateral quickness. It's not really his game at this point. He's pretty much a powerful straight ahead runner. Give you a cut here or there. But I'm really, really intrigued with him because of the size and the speed and the fact he could catch the ball really well in the backfield, and it did a pretty good job running. He ran 168 carries for 814 yards, 10 touchdowns, and a 4.8 yards per carry. So not bad. But he'll be my sleeper.
No.
What does anybody even find what round? He actually may not get drafted and may be a
Oh
free
no,
agent.
he will get drafted.
Well, he's 2.
Where do they have him, Rand? Do you know?
236. But what? Okay, so
7th round.
Yeah, but his combine changed things completely because the combine he just shot up. Was a 5th running back. So his grades at the combine, it's way up there. So I think he'll go higher than what he's projected.
Sorry, what is he projected at?
He's projected at 236.
Yeah, 7th round that is.
Yeah, I think he'll go higher than that.
I give him at least a +1.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't agree with you more, Rich, because he is my sleeper as well.
Nice.
Yeah, 100% is. So what I noticed, the first thing I noticed about Huckleberry is really tall and big and shouldn't be a running back. But as you said, he started as a wide receiver. There was, he's coming out of Clemson, and there's a lot been said about Clemson and how because they were projected to do much better than they had last year, and they didn't. Still, if they're ranked 3rd in the prospects coming out of college. So we've got Ohio State and Miami 1 and 2, and then Clemson is coming 3rd. So they have quite a lot of prospects, even though they didn't do that well in the season. But Adam Reynolds specifically, he's been a Clemson boy from a very young age. I mean, he grew up 280 miles from Clemson. He used to go to summer camps at Clemson. And he tells a story that in 8th grade, so it was about 13, 14, he was at camp at Clemson. He started chatting with this boy called Clay. And he was telling me he was playing, he was QB, and they started chatting, throwing the balls to each other. And when they started playing, he noticed that, oh, who's that coming to watch play? It's Dabo Swinney. So it's Clay Swinney that was the quarterback. So Dabo Swinney noticed him since he was about 13, 14 years old. So he was almost like destined to play for them. And once he got there, it was Dabo Swinney that noticed that he's not doing so well as a wide receiver. So he switched him, and he picked it up pretty quickly. And he had considering he never played that position before, he had a decent year. And I think that with his size and his weight and relative speed, I think he can do quite well. So yeah, so that's why he's as I said, he's my sleeper. When he was at Clemson, Kid Klubnik was his roommate. So don't know what that tells us, but they were good friends. So yeah, I'm happy with him as my sleeper.
Will the team
Boys,
drafts Klubnik take this dude?
That I think that could be an interesting prospect.
boys, make it 3 of 3. He is my sleeper as well. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy about that. I love this guy. I'm super intrigued by him. Now, it's worth noting that he also tore his ACL before his freshman year, but I don't think he's had too many injury worries since then. You talk about the limited experience, certainly at running back. He has had 6 drops as well in 2025. As despite the wide receiver experience, he still does have some drop issues. I think part of that is why he moved over anyway into being a running back. But man alive, as you say, combine testing out of this world. Nearly 1,300 all-purpose yards in 2025. Good Senior Bowl, big frame, really nice cuts in his running, great patience awareness, super willing blocker, Swiss Army knife versatility, man. I just loved what I saw from him and just super intrigued. Clemson might not have had a great year, but Adam Randall has certainly shown enough that makes you think, oh, he could be a really, really intriguing day 3 prospect. But I'm talking 5th, 6th round potentially. I think this dude is incredibly interesting, and I think he'll do a great job for a team. Again, possibly a proper Gainwell substitute in that respect for the receiving chops. May not be particularly similar, but certainly in that aspect as well. Poised, calm, explosive, powerful. Yeah, really just love what I saw from Adam Randall. So yeah, 3 sleepers. Love it. Absolutely love it.
What's interesting?
Nice. Hey, Mark, that's 3 out of 4 for us.
There you go. Oh, no, yeah, me and you,
Right?
Rich, are we're doing great. Taylor
we are.
Green, Adam Randall. Who was the other one? I'm trying to think.
The quarterback, Mendoza.
Yeah, Mendoza, Red Star. Yeah. So we're doing well.
I was just going to say, you can see on his PFF grades for his career, the highest grade he's got for any category out of run or anything is his rushing grade for last year. So it seems like he was more effective, or at least had better production as a rusher last year than anything else he did previously as a receiver.
Absolutely, yeah,
For sure.
Right. The stats back that up. Nice guy.
awesome.
+1 for me, please.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, +1 for me as well, please. Yeah.
All right. Great. Right. Who's next?
Rand's up.
All right. Katrin Allen, please. Out of Penn State.
You got some
Yeah. 5'11", 217 pounds, age 23 on draft day. He played 53 college games. 53. And had 1,815 snaps. The guy played. He's a product of the IMG Academy. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with this IMG Academy. I don't know if anybody heard of the IMG Academy.
Not heard of it.
I don't think
This
so.
this is something that you're going to hear more and more and more about. The IMG Academy, it started as a tennis center, as a tennis excellence center in Florida by Nick Boltieri. He's a very famous tennis coach, retired now. He might have died now, sorry, Nick. He started in 1978. It was all about tennis to start with. He worked with Andre Agassi, Boris Becker, Jim Courier, Monica Seles, the Williams sisters, Maria Sharapova, loads of others. In 1987, IMG, the sports group, bought him out and added other sports over the years. It's now privately owned. It's a sports school. Essentially, it's a private elite sports school. They've got tennis, football, soccer, baseball, basketball, lacrosse, track and field, golf, volleyball, swimming, wrestling. I mean, it's just a massive thing. It was sold in 23 to an Asian private equity firm for $1.2 billion. So it's a massive thing. They've got massive facilities, 600 acres of facilities. They were football national champions in 2020 and 2023. Players that came out of there: Jihad Campbell, Daniel Falele, JJ McCarthy, Greg Newsom, Anthony Weaver, and more. So this is a school that it's people that go there and come out. You see, there's a lot of basketball players that came out of there. So it's a name to keep out for. So when you see the player that came out of IMG Academy, there's a good chance they've got a bright future. So Ketron Allen came out of IMG Academy, was a 4-star recruit to Penn State. He had offers from Alabama, Maryland, Tennessee, Georgia, Ohio State, Florida, Texas, Miami. He chose Penn State. He spent 4 years there. He rushed for 4,180 yards, 39 touchdowns. He received 490 yards and 4 touchdowns over the 4 years. Last year alone, he rushed for 1,300 yards. He shared the line with Nick Singleton, which is probably another player we'll talk about. It's quite unusual to have 2 running backs for one school and another 2 running backs from another school so high up. But obviously, they've got a good scheme there. With Singleton, they were the first duo ever at Penn State. They had more than 1,000 yards in a season. The fact that he knows how to work in the system, he knows how to share the carries, is going to be a good thing for him in the NFL. Early downs machine, great in red zone, downhill runner, perfect in short yard gain, limited ability in the passing game, catching, protecting, stopping from being effective kind of in later downs. That's it. I reckon I can't. Yeah, that's it. No more notes. Where's it gone?
Great,
Yeah,
great. Just from what I'm looking here on the grades, amazing production. Like he might be the highest graded running back we've looked at so far. Higher than Love even. It's crazy. Great grades. Great yards after contact, elusive rating, all of it. It's all off the charts.
Yeah, it's a good player. I'm having a +1.
All right.
You missed the one key thing from
Sorry.
Ketron Allen there, though, Bran.
What did I miss?
The nickname. He's the Fat Man. This is the Fat Man.
Well,
a nickname that his mother gave to him. He just decided to keep it. So, he's not particularly fat, but he is known as the Fat Man. It's one of the best nicknames in this whole class.
He's got a chunky lower half, though. You like his the way he looks like people are going to bounce off him. If you're looking on the stream, there's a picture here with him running in stride, and you can see he's got those Roberto Carlos, if you remember him, the footballer for Brazil. Those big thighs, those big chunky thighs. He just looks like people are going to bounce off him. Break tackles.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you say there, Si? Sorry, I heard...
Arr.
Can't have anyone old, can't have anyone thin. Oh, yeah, no, you can't. Oh, you were just doing the sound drop. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Katron Allen, as I said, all-time Penn State career rush leader, certainly, certainly great. 57 missed tackles for us. You'd love to see that as well. I liked him, but I wasn't like majorly like all, wow about Katron Allen. I don't think he's got great top end speed. I think he's quite limited as a receiver. I didn't particularly like the blocking. I thought it would be a bit better than what I was expecting, but I think he was a little bit mere in that respect. Certainly, I think he'd probably still benefit from being in a committee like he was at Penn State. I don't think he's going to be a 3-down guy, certainly not early on, but power and shiftiness in equal measure, very nice vision, very nice patience. Only one fumble in 2025, which you'd love to see. Good ball security in that respect. I think he'll be an intriguing prospect. I just don't know whether he'll be, as great as some of the other guys in this class. I think he'll make a nice addition to a team without being like all worldly unbelievable out of it. So I'm at value with Katron Allen. I mean, what is he on the consensus board currently? He's like 157. So I certainly rate him over the other guy at Penn State, and I'm sure we'll talk about him in a bit. But he's behind Singleton on this, and I don't think I'd necessarily agree with that. I think I would pip the fat man over him. But he's a good back, Katron Allen, certainly, just not somebody that kind of wowed me, so to speak.
What do you think, Rich?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as Mark. I liked him. He's a powerful back. It seemed like he loves to lower his shoulder and challenge defenders to stop him. He's no problem with contact. He runs right through arm tackles, good contact balance. Just not very fast. He didn't run his 40 at the combine, and I don't think he did at his pro day either, unless you guys have.
I don't have one.
Different information.
No, I don't believe so. No, I think you're right on that one.
But that seems to be that's starting to be the trend, I think, from here on out. If you don't have numbers that just wow people, I think a lot of these guys aren't going to be running it. But it doesn't seem very fast, but good acceleration, good vision. I thought he read his blocking well. Not elusive, but he can get creative in the open field, and so I thought he was pretty good. I don't see him as a bell cow at all. I see him as a committee back. He is limited in the passing game, like Mark said. So I like him. I have him at value.
All right, cool. He looks interesting.
Perfect.
I like this dude. Yeah, there's something about him that you'd like to see the pass blocking to be a bit improved, but there's definitely some potential. I like his build and his frame. Right, where are we going next? Who's next?
Who was that? So that was Rand. So it's back to me, I believe. I feel like this guy's got a bit of a bum rap because we've kind of jumped all over the board here. And consensus wise, this guy's actually number 4 on the consensus list. So I think it's probably time to talk about Jonah Coleman out of Washington, formerly of Arizona, senior, 22 years of age, 5'8", 220 pounds. So we're getting into Diddy Man territory here. A very very small back. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to officially welcome Jonah Coleman into something that good old Stephen Haygarth is doing a graphic for me for the website. Jonah Coleman, you are a member of the Tampa Beige roster because Jonah Coleman is a very safe, very boring kind of a back. It's not necessarily a bad thing. He's not flashy or spectacular, but he's not particularly a liability either. I think he's a reliable, somewhat safe pair of hands that can occasionally tear off much needed big time runs. Broad-shouldered, like to see that out of his range. Despite the fact he's 5'8", I think he's probably, would I say bowling ball? I don't know if I quite go bowling ball potentially, but he's not afraid. God, that
Well,
bowling ball drop every time.
He's not a bowling ball, so I'll stop it there. But I just wanted to play it. If you haven't had it yet, I've been.
Yep. No,
been on the trigger.
you dropped it, and I think I dropped one from it. Yeah.
Wait, is he potentially? Do you know that old style of bowling that was popular in the '60s, where it was like a small ball rather than the big one that they have now?
What, like the wooden one, the wooden ball? I think
Yeah,
that,
I think
that was like
maybe this
the
is more
1660s. I don't think that was.
No. Like in America in like the 1960s or maybe even later than that, like they used to bowl with like really small like ball, kind of like bowls like we have, but like they would bowl with them down bowling lanes, right?
Vaguely, no, yeah, not quite Skittles, but I know what you're sort of referring to. I think, yeah, probably more that style, yeah. But yeah, certainly, yeah, not afraid to power through tackles. Had 2 very productive years in Washington, 25 rushing touchdowns, only 2 fumbles in 4 years of college. So, yeah, that reliability really comes in. Good patience at line of scrimmage, decent motor when he's out in the open space as well. You like that. I think if you watch the Colorado State game, I think that's the very best you're going to see of Jonah Coleman in college. I think that's his best tape to watch. When you're looking for
have that game in Northeastern where he jumped over a guy. Was that game?
Potentially, I didn't have Northwestern down on here as one of the tapes I watched. So yeah, potentially that could be also a great one. But certainly, I think Colorado State showcases the very best of what he's capable of. Obviously, yeah, smaller guy, so you're going to worry about that. Middle of the packing numbers across the board, really. So yeah, that kind of shows he's nothing particularly spectacular. Not awful, but not spectacular. Kind of lacks top end speed again. I think I was, at 220, I was hoping for, a little bit more inside zone physicality to him. He's not afraid to power through, but I was hoping for a little bit more physicality, I guess. But yeah, I just think he is more of that kind of 1B that will need. I pair this guy with Jeremiah Love, and I think it would work quite nicely. I think, or something like that. Double him up with someone like that to get the very best out of him. But I think he can carve out a decent little role in the NFL. So yeah, certainly a Tampa Bay guy, certainly a guy I was kind of like, he's fine. Okay, moving on. At value for me, Jonah Coleman. 90, that sort of, what's that, back end of the day 2. I'm happy with that. I think that value is probably about right. I don't think I'll go much lower than that, if anything else. So yeah, he's absolutely fine, certainly.
Why has his draft stock kind of tanked a bit?
It was a bit higher, wasn't it? I just think
it tanked a bit because he didn't run at the combine.
Okay.
Yeah, that didn't help either. Certainly,
and people think he's kind of would have been about 4.6, where his game speed is probably much better than his flat running speed. Right. That's why he went down.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably about right. Yeah.
Some nice grades.
Well, he's been 3rd or 4th running back throughout, right from the start. Right from the start, looking at him, he's always been up there. And I like him. I like him very much. He's the same size as Kenneth Walker III, so the measurements are very similar. He's heavier than Kenneth Walker III, roughly the same height. I mean, I've got his height as 5'9", but he played 50 college games. He played a lot of college games. He started. So his coach Jed Fish, he was quarterback coach at the Patriots with Bill Belichick. He was offensive coordinator, QB coach, assistant at the Rams, Michigan, Jaguars, University of Miami, the Seahawks, the Broncos, the Ravens. So his coach, the guy that recruited him, then recruited him to Arizona, then moved to Washington, and he brought him with him. So clearly he saw something in him. And, he's to me, he's more than just a beige player. He's if you look at from all the players that I watched, he's the only player that was running head down. Whenever he was tackled, he was facing down. He was leaning forward. Every time anybody tried to hit him, when he was brought down, he gained another couple of yards just by his technique. Never fell backwards, always forwards, always running through. It reminded me, you know, those little toy cars that you put on the floor, kind of wind backwards and then let go, and then it just runs forward. And whatever it hits, it just bounces off them until they move them out of the way and then carry on, unless that's it, runs out of energy. It kind of reminded me of that. He was just relentless. He ran through the box every time, almost every time. When you look at him, A/B gaps, he's running right through the middle, whether there was something there or not.
Yeah.
I thought it was really, you could see that his head coach trusted him. You could see that the scheme was for him. And that made a huge difference. I think that's one of the reasons he's so high, because the O-line just was working for him and he could just make the most of it. And he was great. I thought he was great. He's in fact my Red Star.
Red Star.
Well, now I feel bad.
Well, no, there's no need. I mean, look, we don't know how he's going to end up. We have no idea who he's going to recruit him. But it just seemed to me, if you look at pictures of him over the years from high school, it just seems like he grew sideways more than up. He's go wider and wider and wider. And I did put a note here, that the bowling ball note as well. I mean, thank you. It just seemed like the king of yak every time he got the ball. When you thought he was going to gain a couple of yards, he got you 6 yards. He just kept on going. And I love that about him, that he got the ball, you think, oh, he's going down. Oh, no, he's not going down. And he was going around players, over players. And it was extremely hard to bring him down. And I think it's going to be invaluable at the NFL, especially, first, second down. He's going to just ram through. And all he needs, he doesn't need to do much. If he's just going to gain 3, 4, 5 yards every time, that's enough. That's more than what he's needs to do. Yes, he's not going to be the great receiver. He's not going to be a dual threat. He is going to be one of those players that run down the throw, downhill. And if he's utilized that way, he's going to be great.
Yeah, the stats back that up, man. If you look at who's running off, A gap or B gap, that's where most of his yards come from. Running off left guard, he's got 8.6 yards per attempt there on the season. So,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
And I think that's one of the reasons his grade is so high, because the scheme was made for him, so you could utilize that.
You watch him, Rich?
I did. Yeah, I like the guy. Again, another powerful runner. And he's a pretty good receiver out of the backfield. He had 31 receptions last season. He had 8 receptions against Maryland. So, he can catch the ball. He's got great ball security. I mean, maybe the best in the class. 2 fumbles and over 600 touches and 1 drop pass in his entire career. So pretty good. I mean, decent cuts in the open field. He shows some creativity. And like Rand mentioned, he always falling forward. Very rarely does this guy lose yardage. He not a lot of top end speed. Another guy that did not run his 40 at the combine or his pro day. He doesn't have that lateral explosiveness or great burst through the line of scrimmage that I would like to see. But he is what he is. He reminded me a little bit of Maurice Jones-Drew.
Huh.
And I would definitely call this guy a bowling ball. 5'9", 228 is what I have. And that to me, that's bowling ball status.
Here it comes.
Yeah, so I like the guy. I don't round two. I really, really want to have this guy value, but I just don't think I would go round two though. He's got the floor, but he doesn't have a high enough ceiling to me to draft him in round two. And if that's where he's going,
Rich, listen to me. Listen to no. I'm the angel on your shoulder, Rich. Listen to me.
Go ahead.
This is the moment when we break the glass ceiling on this, Rich. You're going to understand it now. It sounds to me like you believe in the guy, and you're getting hung up on this logic trap of what round is he valued at. I think you like the guy. I think the vibe is
I do.
Go +1.
+1?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be completely tied to where he is grading. It's more about where on draft day when it's your pick around his value. So wherever everyone values him, like not just against where he's valued, but like
I see. Yeah,
so
I see him round 3.
Yeah, but
I see him round 3 back.
But the grade is more like how you feel about him when you're on the clock, and it's your pick, and he's around where he's valued. Are you above other players at that pick? So it sounds to me like you are +1 on him because it sounds to me like you like him at above his value, if you see what I mean.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would have to say at value.
Okay.
I do like him, but I don't know if I like him that much.
Right.
Because I'm comparing him to the other backs in this class, and it's not a strong class. You know what I mean? I mean, I think he can have a decent career, but I don't know. I don't know if if this guy's going to ever see a Pro Bowl. Something like that. I don't know. If he has that great of ability. But I do like him, so I would have to go at value.
Right. Sounds to me like you're putting him on the Tampa Bay's roster as well.
I think he might like him a little bit more than that. I don't know.
He's the +1 for me.
I don't hate him either. Like, Tampa Bay isn't always a bad thing. Like, if you're solid and dependable, but not particularly spectacular, you're probably going to end up on that for me. So, yeah, I don't hate the guy, certainly. I just
fair enough.
He's safe. Yeah. I mean, I think he's a safe pick. I think you're going to get productivity out of him. Like I said, I just don't think he has a real high ceiling.
But you comped him to Maurice Jones-Drew. He was one of my favorite running backs back in the day. Love that guy.
Yeah. He reminds me of him a little bit. Not quite the same build, but similar.
I mean, that guy would just go through the line and just reappear on the other side. That was that was his. Yeah. Does this guy do that?
Yeah, he's a pretty powerful runner.
I think so.
Do you say you're +1, Ran?
Yes.
Okay.
He's my red star.
I thought I heard that. Yeah, just checking. All right, cool. Let's move on. Who's next?
Yeah. I'm just conscious we're close to 3 hours now, so I don't know if we need to.
I'm going to go really fast from here on out, guys. I'm just give a little basics and then go. Yeah. It's my turn, so I'll go with Nicholas Singleton. Guy is a mystery to me, man. Some tape I watched, he was like freaking amazing, and you would think, wow, this guy's gonna go real high in the draft. And then other stuff is like, what was his acceleration to me is more impressive than his top speed. He didn't run the 40, but good speed for his size. 6 foot 219 out of Penn State, and Penn State had really nothing. And these two running backs, I think, they may be better than what we think because they had nothing in the receiving core. For Penn State, they were like the team. They were the offense. These two guys, Singleton and Bright, really good ball security. I don't believe he fumbled at all last season. Good receiver out of the backfield, 24 receptions. Now the thing that is strange, like he played against Indiana. That's the second best rushing defense in the league in college football. He ran for 10 carries for 71 yards, 7.2 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, 3 receptions, 22 yards, and another touchdown. But then he plays Iowa, who's also a good defense, 17th rated. He had 6 carries for 15 yards, 2.5 yards per carry. So he's just really inconsistent. I just don't. It's just too inconsistent for me with the competition that he faced. He had what was I going to say here? 7 games out of 12. Okay, he played 12 games. 7 games out of them, he was under 4 yards a carry. And that's not horrible, but I mean, like Najee was always being dinged because he had 3.9 for a season, 3.8, but that was in the pros. When Najee was in college, his career college yards per carry was 6. So, it's a whole different deal, obviously. But I thought the guy, when he's good, he's really good. But when he's bad, I don't know, he just disappears, it seems. But where do you guys have, what round do you guys have him going?
I mean, he's currently 120 something. Is it 126?
Fourth round.
126.
Yeah, fourth round.
Fourth round.
Yeah.
I would go at value for him. I think you could do something with this guy. I would go at value.
It's weird because just before someone else goes, he was one of the names I knew in this class before. I mean, there was Love and him. They were the two names I'd heard. He's really
he was real high at one time.
Yeah, he's really fallen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Truly, he has. And I mean, like, you talk about he has a safe pair of hands, no fumbles, as you said. There is some upside to him, but man, I just did not particularly like what I saw. Like, amazingly, the touchdowns went up, but everything else production-wise seemed to go down in 2025. I just felt like he just ran forward without much thought to kind of juking or finding holes until it was too late. I didn't like the vision there. Kind of limited receiving route tree as well. Won't power through in goal to go situations. Thought he struggled there. Won't get touchdowns unless the holes really open up for him. Only 19 missed tackles forced in 2025. That's in the bottom 40 of draftable running backs in 2026. Wasn't they weren't huge numbers in previous seasons as well. All of it felt really kind of a bit meh to me in general anyway. And then he broke his foot at the Senior Bowl. And it was just like, oh, God, no. It's like the worst thing for a back that was already coming off a bit of a rough season to then break your foot at the Senior Bowl. Oh, no. I'm not saying he's a bad back. I just think it was very uninspiring stuff, quite north-south, smatterings of nice footwork here and there, but Penn State were a mess, but I don't think his lack of impact helped it. And, particularly with the broken foot going into it as well, I'm -1 on Nick Singleton. I'm not on board with going anywhere near this guy, to be perfectly honest with you. I much preferred Catron Allen when I was looking at his tape out of the two of them. I would drop this guy down to, I don't think 126 is for me at all. I think fifth, sixth round sort of value for Nick Singleton for me personally.
What was it exactly that made it a -1 for you?
Just as I say, there was just very little inspiring to me. I just thought he was very north-south, very not particularly great in terms of finding holes, not particularly effective, missed tackle wise, not particularly strong in that respect. Just a lot of little things that kind of built up like that made me think, no. And then the broken foot on top of that was just like, no, thank you.
Yeah, but the broken foot is just unfortunate, really, isn't it? It's
unfortunate, but you still have to take it into account. Certainly, like a guy who's already had a rough season to then do that is not going to help draft stock at all. So I think.
Well, if someone was looking for an excuse, then that would be an excuse. But he was eligible to go into at the end of 24, and he decided to stay. Like, thing is, people were used to want to get out of college to go into the NFL to earn money. Now they seem to want to stay because they will earn more money in college in maybe the first 2, 3, or 4 years in the NFL. So he decided he could have left. He was eligible last year, but then it was a different class. So I was just, maybe you thought that if he had a good 25 like he had 24, he would be higher because he had Genty and Omarion Hampton and Judkins and Caleb Johnson, of course. So he thought, right, I'm going to stay another year, earn some more money, hopefully have a good 25 and then go higher. But it didn't work out that way. It's kind of a Jekyll and Hyde, right? It's Lee Majors again. It's either Fall Guy or $6 billion man. It's at value for me. because it can go either way. So
All right, cool. Let's keep going. Let's move on. Right, who's next?
Ran.
Ran. Who you got?
oh, who did I go for? What did I? Okay, hold on. What was I looking at? Okay, it's Jamari Taylor.
Okay.
Virginia. Jamari Taylor. He's had an interesting start. He's 5'9", 204 pounds. He'll be 23 at the draft. He comes from Charlotte, North Carolina. He joined North Carolina Central University as a walk-in in 2020, just 150 miles from home. He played for the Eagles for 4 years, didn't start a single game for the first 3 years in college. In his final year, he came too. He rushed for 1,882 yards, 15 touchdowns. Then transferred to University of Virginia, where he was number one running back. Great contact balance, absorb hits without going down. I mean, some linebackers hit him pretty hard. I saw on the tape, but he managed to just drag them along. Even when he thought, I mean, you look at him, you thought, okay, he's going to go down. No, he just carried on, which was very good. I still have him at value, but his long speed doesn't really match his initial burst. So he starts really well, but then it doesn't. You think, okay, come on, go on. No, it doesn't. It's got, obviously limited sample against really good opposition because he only did 1 year of that. Yeah, it's a decent running back. I'll have him at value, no more than that. And he is projected to go.
Yeah, he's two.
Late six,
Yeah.
I think.
220.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what. He's older. He's smaller. He doesn't have a great amount of experience against top tier opposition. I loved him. I thought he was great. I thought he was great. 93rd percentile 40 at the combine, which you love to see anyway. Really good juking ability, good hands in the screen game and dump offs. Really nice awareness. Fights for his yardage. There was an absolutely brilliant touchdown against FSU where he just bounces off the safety and just keeps going. Like shows his great strength there. 14 touchdowns in 2025. You'd love to see that. Only 2 fumbles in 680 touches. Absolutely awesome. 55 missed tackles forced as well. Really high rate. Only one less than Jeremiah Love. As you say, minimal play strength kind of in terms of when he's at the line. When he's in the backfield it's fine, but when he's up to the up against the defensive line it's a bit minimal. Quite an ineffective blocker in that respect, but man alive, as a day 3 complimentary piece in a committee, I would 100% give him a chance. Shifty, elusive, smart, showed a hell of a lot in his first FBS season, and it could just go up from there. I know it's the age is a concern, certainly. He might not be here for a long time. Damn, he's going to be here for a good time. I'm a +1 on him. I really like what I saw out of Jamari Taylor.
0 receiving touchdowns, I just noticed.
Yeah. But it's still got as you say, it's mostly screen and dump offs with him, and he's while he doesn't. He's not going to be the touchdown merchant in that respect, but he'll probably get you first downs in there, and he's a safe pair of hands as well. I certainly liked that aspect.
Where did he run? He didn't run at the combine, so he must have run at his pro day 40. Because I haven't got a 40.
I have him at a 4.63. I don't know if that's his pro day or because he did not run at the combine.
Right, yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, what did I have down there then?
He is comped athletically to Sean Tucker, who I like, and then Bryce Love. Do you remember that guy? Didn't he have like he was a potential first round running back that broke his leg? Anyway, sidetrack. Rich, what do you think about this dude?
I thought, for what you're getting, I thought he's good. I have him at value. Thought he was a real tough runner. This guy uses all 199 pounds when he runs. So I don't know how he's going to how all this is going to transfer or translate to the next level. but he has some. He had 43 receptions, so he can catch the ball, and he's got a little bit of lateral agility, some nice bursts through the line of scrimmage. Not great top end speed, not real elusive, but I think for what he is, I think he can be a good backup back. I can't ever see him being a premier back, but I have him at value if he's supposed to go in the 6th round.
Right. The pass blocking Brady isn't terrible, well, at least from last year. I mean, the year before. So that's something.
I must have had that combine note on somebody else and got moved into Taylor. I don't know where that's come from.
Don't worry. That's all right.
Scrap that bit.
Don't worry, it's fine. Yeah, we've addressed that. Yeah. Let's have a look here. Pass blocking. Oh no, he had one really good game that's kind of eluded his distorted his grade. Actually, his pass blocking was really rough.
Yeah, he's quite an ineffective blocker overall. Right. Certainly. So
that's crazy. Why is that great? Anyway, right. Let's move on. Who are we on to next?
Who just did Jamari Taylor? So that was Rand. So
Jamari Taylor was mine.
Oh, sorry.
So it's me, I think. Yes. Right. Just having a look quickly at who I actually want to speak about. If there's there's a few other guys around here, but I think I'm going to take us to the national champions, and let's talk first of all about Roman Hemby, Indiana, 2025, formerly of Maryland, redshirt senior, 23 years of age, 6 foot, 210 pounds. I think this guy might have had the better combine. I think this guy might be where I was going for in the combine notes. I need to double check that in a second. But he was a key part of Indiana's national title run. He was really, really effective. Only 2 fumbles in his college career. Productive touchdown numbers throughout college. Showed really nice strength in his running with a great second level burst as well. I think most of my notes actually then got cut off. I don't know where the rest of those notes are gone. Oh, brilliant. Okay. But I don't think there was too much else I said there. He's an older prospect. He's going to be 24 when the season just about kicks off. He's had minimal receiving threat in 2025. Not particularly explosive when he's handed the ball as well. Somewhat inconsistent vision. As an out and out runner, I think he's a real threat who thrived in that Indiana offense. Part of an excellent duo with Kalon Black. The age, the lack of blocking, the inconsistency here. I think it will keep him as a day 3 prospect. He's currently where is he currently at? 229. Yeah, to be fair, that's probably about right. I think I was kind of a bit bullish in my thing here, but I'm going to say at value for Hemby. I think he could definitely do a job for a team. I just don't know if it's going to be like a major. It's certainly not going to be the dizzying heights of his national championship run. Which a lot of that was really nice to see. But I think he might be brought back down to earth a little bit at the next level. Certainly an intriguing prospect.
Anyone else watch him?
No, I didn't watch him. Sorry.
No, I didn't watch him.
Didn't watch a national champion winning running back. Unbelievable.
All right. We had a request to talk about Moss. Anyone watch Moss?
I didn't watch Le'Veon Moss. I had to apologize to Tom for that. I feel bad, but I didn't watch Moss myself.
Neither did I.
No, me neither. Sorry.
Sorry, Tom. Sorry, Tom. You're gonna have to send your thoughts into the pod.
Yes. That was an interesting one. Yeah, he said he would buy the jersey if we drafted Le'Veon Moss. So
sounds like a sleeper there for Tom Allen.
There was Emmett Johnson, right, Mark, and then now Le'Veon Moss. I mean, we've got some good running back stock.
Oh yeah,
right.
Stunning names. Yeah.
Right.
That's my analysis for you there, Tom.
Yeah. Quality stuff from me and Si on this show. Who wants to go next?
I'm next.
Go ahead.
Okay, Damon Claiborne, 5'10", 195 pounds, out of Wake Forest. When you run a 4.37 40, you're going to get an opportunity in the NFL. He had 23 runs of 10-plus yards in 2025. He's got, obviously, elite top-end speed. I think he has elite lateral agility, very quick. He's got good vision. He hits the hole quick. I talked about the pity-patty feet. There's none of that with this guy. He hits the hole really fast. I think if you can put him in the right system, because he has some negatives about him. But if you can put him in the right system and get him in space, I think he could really be a big contributor for a team. He has ball security issues. He had 5 fumbles in 2025, and he has 10 for his career. Now, you want to get this guy in space. You want to throw him the ball. He had 28 receptions, but the bad thing is on 38 targets, he dropped the ball 6 times in 2025, and that's just not good. He's not a very effective pass blocker at all. Very, very quick, but when he hits second level, I wouldn't say he's really creative. I don't think he's super creative at second level. Doesn't have great contact balance. He's not going to break a lot of tackles. It's like I said, this is a guy that you're going to have to design plays where you get him in space. And if you can do that, I think he could get some production for you. So I have the guy at value.
Yeah, I'm at value with Claiborne as well. Can't really disagree with much of what you said there. You know, had 0 fumbles over his first 3 years, and then suddenly has 5 in 2025. So, you know, there's some ball security issues there that you're really going to have to clean up. You know, as I say, super speedy, tremendous wiggle. You know, we haven't talked much about wiggle in this class, but I think there's some wiggle there with him. Yeah, the recent fumbles scare me. I don't think he's a 3-down back, but I think, I'm at value as well with him. I think the agility alone is definitely going to give him a shot at the next level.
Well, he's very fast. He was ran track in high school, 10.61 seconds for 100 meters. It's very good. Once he sees daylight, once he's got clear ground in front of him, he can cover it. He did some kick returns, so I think that might work out for him, because the NFL is recruiting more and more good running backs as kick returners with this new kick starts and all of that. So that could work out for him. One interesting note I've pointed out for him was the guy that recruited him, Dave Glosson. He was the same guy that recruited Kenneth Walker III. So clearly saw something about him and trained him up. So hopefully that will work for him at the next level. But I have him at value.
All right. Not much of a receiver by the look of his grades.
No.
Yeah.
If he's recruited, it's going to be mainly for one thing. It won't be pass protection. It won't be receiving. It will be
pure speed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it is speed.
Getting the ball and gone around.
He's a fast dude. Is he a slasher? One of those dudes that can just hit a hole and he's gone? Or is it just he just needs
if
to
he
get
clears,
outside?
yeah. If he clears, if he's got once he managed to run through and has some sees some daylight, then I think he can cover some ground.
But can he hit a gap? Like is he one of the, is he like a Dalvin Cook type that can just, you know, is dangerous and hit a gap and gone, or is it just he needs to actually get open first before he hits his speed? You know, because Dalvin Cook,
He will need a bit of help to get.
Needs a bit of open
right
space.
scheme.
Okay, fine, right. He's not that guy. I guess he wouldn't be in the 7th round or whatever if he did. Right. Who?
So I was saving him for last, yes, but I did watch Eli Heidenreich, and I got bored of him.
Okay,
it's just
about him.
well, to be honest,
I was going to.
It was registered as wide receiver and a back, and I wasn't sure, and I thought he was a Navy. I thought, right, if it's a Navy, he must have worked really hard, because obviously they don't throw the ball. But it turns out he did, because he was such a good receiver. They kind of threw the ball to him a lot. He's from Pittsburgh, and his best mate, they joined together, and it's the other running back. It was very. If you talk about beige, that was it. He is slightly undersized, slightly underweight. You look at him, you maybe might think about McCaffrey, but he wasn't quite there. It was at value for me, but nothing spectacular.
Looks a bit lean to me.
I was going to watch Heidenreich with the wide receivers because of the receiving upside, because he's a fullback, really. It's a weird. He's in that Navy offense. So,
who knows what those guys do? Yeah. Anyone want to talk about Max Breederson?
I talked about him in the tight end episode.
I know you did. I wonder
Yeah.
if Rich or Rand wanted to. The Michigan fullback. No.
Nope.
Okay.
No, I have nothing on him.
Okay. Anyone else quickly before we wrap this up? Anyone high on anyone particularly before we?
I just wanted to very, very, very briefly pick up on Robert Henry Jr. Out of UTSA, formerly of Jones Community College. He's another older back, 24 years of age, 5'9", 196 pounds. But man, how is this for a stat of the weird? In this past season, he had 33 missed tackles forced. In 2024, he had 33 missed tackles forced. And in 2023, you guessed it, he had 33 missed tackles forced. Absolutely bizarre that he had exactly the same number of missed tackles forced. But I really, really liked him. He showed excellent patience in his running, can turn on the afterburners downfield, very nice footwork to cut back and juke. His biggest test, he wasn't up against great opposition, but he passed his biggest test against Texas A&M this past season with flying colors. A really, really great game against Texas A&M. Love to see that. So you could see that he can mix it up with the better opposition. He's older, he's a bit smaller. He's, as I say, the competition wasn't great overall. Minor ball security issues. Obviously not got the blocking upside as well. But just as a day 3 back, I'm really concerned if this guy falls to the Ravens, not least because then you'll have Henry and Henry Jr. Kind of running at you. But I think he could complement a bigger back like that really well. I think if you have a power back for you leading the way, Robert Henry Jr. is going to make a great complementary piece alongside him. Showed off pace, showed off wiggle, showed off inside burst. First team All-American Conference guy in 2025. Yeah, I'm a very big fan of him. I think he's a +1 for me, and that he was another sleeper candidate potentially in day 3.
Anyone else watch him?
No.
I did not.
The only other guy I kind of wanted to very quickly just jump on, just because he's Tom's sleeper, is Jamal Haynes out of Georgia Tech. Yes. Yeah. I was at value with him. He's 5'7", 195, converted wide receiver. Not particularly great in 2025, but did have some good years before that. Concussion red flags about him, which is a bit of a concern. So I'm worried about his durability at the next level. But very nice initial burst, good motor, very nice on the outside as well. But yeah, I know Tom's a big fan of his, and I think he feels Jamal Haynes can carve out a good role.
What school did you say he was?
Georgia Tech.
And
Jamal Haynes and Haynes King as the quarterback. So
right, I can't seem to see him on the big board. Where is he?
He should be on that consensus big board.
How far down? Oh, there he is. 405. Jeez, deep sleeper. Projected to be undrafted free agent. Okay, let's have a look at him quickly.
No, I think he could. I mean, I don't know. I kind of borderline UDFA 7th round with him, but Tom's certainly a big proponent of his.
He's got a thick frame. Looks a little bit muscle hamsterish. This guy.
Yeah.
All right, let's have a look here. Okay. So did you watch him, Mark, or you just cursory because it's Tom?
Oh no, I'm at value with him. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that value at the moment is very low, but maybe I'm not as high as I am with than Thomas, certainly.
So let's see if he's on the old. Hang on, here he is. He's PFF ranked 285. Let's have a look at the production here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all pretty low, like 2.8 yards after contact, gap grade below average, rushing grade. So didn't seem like he produced much, but that grades are grades. They're not always a mark of how good a prospect is. But I like to see what he did in college. So yeah, sort of underwhelming college prospect, which is maybe why he's so low. But
it's particularly this year. Yeah.
Let's have a look on his mock draftable very quickly. 1 second. If he's got one, he might not have one. He hasn't got one. He didn't do the combine, so yeah, no metrics there to look at. Okay, bit of a sleeper there. Someone that Tom's putting his money behind. None of us have seen him apart from you, Mark. Okay, cool. Anyone else got anyone they want to talk about? Or is that it? We there?
I'm good.
which is good. Ran.
No, I'm done.
Yeah, I had one more guy, but I'm not gonna. Yeah, let's wrap it up because the guy I've got, is not even on the mock draft database. So there you go.
Just say his name. Say his name, Matt.
Sia
nothing else.
Bangura out of Ohio.
you
Very intriguing prospect, but
Ohio, not Ohio State.
Yeah.
just Ohio. Yeah,
Just Ohio.
Yeah, Bangora.
Bangor.
Sia Bangura.
So he's not even on the.
Yeah.
He's lower than 653.
Yes, but he has had no. He has had teams talk to him.
You know what you should do? You should go and do a load of mock drafts and just take him in the first round, and that will boost his stock in the consensus big board. That's how it works, right? At least to get him.
He was one of the highest graded running backs in 2025. 1,400 yards and 15 rushing touchdowns.
How do you spell his name?
Sieh and then Bangura, Bangura.
Sieh. Bangura. Here we go.
Bangura.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just going to pull up his
Yeah.
PFF. I just want to have a very.
I really liked him. I thought he's rapid, shifty feet. There we go. I am talking about him. 60 missed tackles in 2025. Good goal line fighter. Just
Hey, I'll tell you what, Mark. He's got Bangora for his book, hasn't he?
good lord. You can tell what time it is.
Pass blocking's bad. Just hang on.
Blocking technique definitely needs work.
Looks bad to me. Yeah, some nice offensive grades, some nice rushing grades. Yeah, he's okay for a guy that's probably going to go undrafted. You never know with a dude like this.
I'd make him one of the priority UDFA targets, but I think I'd probably take a kind of wager on him in the back end of the 7th as well. Because I just
wager?
think he's
What is
got
it?
a lot.
1870? Okay.
I don't know.
It
But
is at this time.
yeah, very productive and very interesting, and with special teams upside as well. So
All right, cool. Someone to look out for. There you go. Deep sleeper.
Deep dive.
Deep dive. Not even registered on any. No one's drafted him at all in the history of all of the drafts in this draft season. Apparently.
When Mark's retort is no, but teams one team has spoken to him.
Yeah.
no, there are teams that have certainly had.
It reminds me when Dave brought the guy whose tape he had sent him by a direct message. Remember that?
Yeah.
Who was that guy?
Yeah. Dave was the only person to speak about this prospect, so the prospect reached out to him. It was quite touching.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah.
All right.
How did they hear of that?
We don't know. Yeah. What are you saying? We're an international podcast with many ones and tens of listeners, man. So
That's
got to
that's
it.
very impressive.
Yeah,
That is very
We don't know.
impressive.
Probably Twitter. It was back before the Musk era of Twitter, when it was a different place. The algorithm was also didn't stomp on you quite as it does now.
Stomp on our dreams.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. I won't drag this on too much long with it being a long show. Go on,
Yeah, if I may, just a little party gift. I watched a lot of tape. It was before the combine, and at some point, he just kind of trying to get all the information and listening to podcast, and it got a little bit much. I just need to take a little break, and I started doubting myself, thinking, "Well, I've seen this guy. I think he's this. He's doing that." I just didn't know what I know and didn't know what I didn't know, and it reminded me of something, and I had to look it up, and it came back to me. And it's a quote I want to read out to you if you don't mind.
Please do.
So, in 2002, the United States Secretary of Defense, Donald Rumsfeld, he gave an answer in a press conference to a question about Iraq, and WMDs. I don't want to go into that. I want to read to you the quote, the answer that he gave. There are known knowns. There are things we know we know. We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, there are things we know we don't know. But there are also unknowns that the ones we don't know. Thank you very much.
It's a great quote. It's a great quote. I love that quote, and I feel kind of sorry for Romy. He got thrown under the bus by Bush, and didn't deserve it.
I wasn't going to go there. All I said is that we don't know what we don't know, even though we know that we don't know we don't know.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Bit of neoliberal, neocon quotation there from Ram. But it's a great quote. It's one of the best quotes of the last sort of 20 years or whatever it is. Yeah. Well done.
Well,
Right,
for Ran, for Rich, for Mark, for Gav, for me, Simon, jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams. Thank you.
And we'll see you next week for corners.
All
I thought you meant
right.
like corners, like the show, like corners. No, I was like, what corner? You mean the
No.
position?
No.
Corner.
All right, no, in all
Yeah.
seriousness, thank you for listening, everyone. It's been a long one, but appreciate you sticking around if you got to the end. Let us know on Twitter. You might be one of the few.
Yeah.
Follow the show at UK Steelers Pod. Follow me at CyWroteThis. Follow Gav at GM Boom Up. Follow Mark at Mesh NFL. Follow Rich at stunt_Batman. Is that still right, Rich? On Instagram.
That's it. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And Rand doesn't want to be followed. Don't follow him.
Please don't.
Please don't follow him. All right, we'll see you next time.
See you later.
See you later.
Right. Bye-bye.
Go Steelers.
Maybe you could take out a couple of bars here.